2060の第3次世界大戦終戦だが、鉄血孤独性 AI 及び戦術人形の全面的暴走に世界がまた大ピンチに陥った。これはフィリピン民間軍事会社に所属するドールズの奮闘を描く物語。はずだったんだ。よろしくお願いします。请多指教。おやすみ。ありがとう。谢谢。どういたしまして。優秀。そういえば、話说回来，本当に真的可以吗？どうですか？怎么样？どうしよう？怎么办？すみません。对不起哦。さよなら。再见了。お疲れ様です。辛苦了。这是什么？何もないですね。什么东西都没有。見つけた。本当に楽しかった。真的很开心的。終わり。谢谢回路。秘密兵器出動。綺麗だね。好漂亮啊！もちもちで特別ね。有感哦。好きです。乾杯。我的姐妹准备好了。这是个什么？为什么一点店长？这个店长很难呀。好名了喵。已经没得你了。好惨喵。経験。好ね。飛行機。優先。入部作戦。上々です。但是之前从天来宾他被前上前线。それではここからが本題。4号年開始。这还是无解。やっぱり4号年が一番だよ。无解果然ではね。こんな時こそ私の出番ですわ。就只要我登場了。スピード勝負に負けないよ。只是速度我可不会输。彼女の魂はまだきらめいているじゃないか。他的灵魂依然在他帮帮忙。出し切ろうで1日反省しなさい。你还是在听历史反省一天吧。さあ直立つくサラダ。誰がぺたんこだって。一緒だ。それでは本日の番組はここまで。また見てくださいね。
Alright, I think everything should be working now, everyone. My apologies. Tried doing a dual stream, and I think that didn't work out too well, and we're back to just the original solo stream. Hopefully, everything is coming through well, and audio is good. Just gonna wait for a couple seconds. Okay, good. Audio seems to be working. For some reason, a very loud alert is going on, so I'm gonna try to see if I could change that. But anyways, okay, I hear background noise, so it's good. Okay, everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well today. This time around, it's a little bit closer to the actual beginning of the year, but we're going to be going over the whole year of releases and betas as well with our wonderful co-hosts this time around again. But I'll let the normal one introduce themselves. Uberclay, go ahead, say something, especially what you're drinking. Well, that just leaves the opportunity for someone else, or maybe you can reclaim the throne again of being the drunk. I'll introduce the next guy, the person whose website is also used a lot in this site or this channel as well, Control Pew. Well, yeah, ciders can be pretty good sometimes, but yes, the womanly drink will not get past you this time. No, yeah, everyone should know his site by now. Of course, one of the original people in this entire space to begin with. So it's nice having you on too, Control Pew. And, he finally came back with his pack of Marlboros. Dr. Death, go ahead and say something to the wonderful, wonderful chat again. Oh, that is just wonderful. And now that is fixed. That is just great. Okay. Speed running through that all again. Oh, Uber Clay is drinking some weird whiskey. Control Pew is drinking Angry Orchards. And Dr. Death is back to having bad issues with his audio. I guess we could just go with that. But who will receive true love is our wonderful channel sponsors, Aho Patrick's and Intrusive Chisites. Coupon code /AGcast in the comments below. But yeah, okay, that's it. This is starting off wonderfully well.
So funny.
Well, you know what? I'm hoping that
well-practiced and professional streamers here.
Exactly. You know, the journalist that's watching this, that's sitting by, just trying to keep everything down for their new list of far-right 3D printed gun stuff for their next, their next investigation. Hopefully, they're enjoying that little bit.
we all caught a raging case of boomerism.
Yes.
Well, could be worse.
I mean, this does live up to 2025's memory.
You're right.
Yeah,
all I just need is a shrinking RAM as well. That would be the only thing that could add to this. Yeah. But no, yeah, that's okay. We're doing the year in review, everyone. Dr. Death is the only one that doesn't have a picture because the man locked himself out of his.
I put it up now. I put it up now.
Oh, it's not showing up for us, but he did the whole I got hacked, guys, and then actually is just he forgot his password. But anyways, the year in review is basically when we go over all the previous betas and releases from last year, and more or less talk about where they went, how they went, and I guess the interesting parts about them. So, I guess to start it off, Uber Clay, you got the good old list. What was our first release of January 2025?
Yeah, so our first release, the year started off with a couple of accessories, and so the first release, I mean, technically it's a frame, but it's a remix of the FGC 9, but it's the Evo mod, so it's the remix that created a modification pack for the FGC 9 that adapts it to use the Evo 3 magazines.
I remember shooting that thing before, but that was one that has been in beta for, I want to say, at least 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, that was when I was still in charge of everything.
Absolutely.
I'm so happy to see that come out.
I mean,
People love that.
Well, I remember I shot it before. I mean, it is exactly what it is, an FGC 9 that just uses Evo mags. Of course, you have to redesign, I think, the feed ramp. The magazine was like a paddle style release similar to that of the Scorpion Evo, but all else is basically the same. It's just, cool for the guys that don't want to use Glock mags.
It looks a lot nicer as a subgun,
That's what I was going to say.
Glock mags in general.
It definitely aesthetically, it's definitely superior. Like it's got a vibe,
Again,
it also shows
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say
it shows the evolution. Oh, jeez, I'm so sorry.
Go ahead, Doc. Shows the evolution. What?
Of our magazine capabilities, because like Scorpion Evo mags are printable now, and one of the big draws to doing the early Glock mags and why everything took Glock mags was, number one, they were super common, but number two, we figured out how to print them pretty early on, which was an enormous evolution in technology at the time, but that march of progress has only continued. And this is the end result with it.
Well, I mean, to piggyback off of that, to take some good old words from Tech Bros, is that, well, that leads to I think that's going to go to one of our final releases this year, that this month, well, last month and the month before that didn't have any beta, so that's why that video took so long, so don't get too mad. But the release, that one we have a couple of releases about those Glock mags. But also, talk about what Pew said when it comes to subguns is, I think someone told me again, all like 3D printed like subguns that have like, that use Glock mags have this terrible issue of just looking like a letter H. Because the Glock mag and then I guess the A2 grip kind of has the same angle and it just looks like a letter H. And ever since I've heard that, I just can't unsee it. Of like,
right?
It just annoys me. But
it's not a good look, the regular Glock mag. And look, if we're being honest, everyone prints these guns for the looks, and so having a
I
nicer
can't-
looking gun is pretty important.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's Glock mags are, it's a love-hate relationship. They are so common, it's hard to ignore. So, but the Evos, I think they look better.
I mean, they definitely do. And there's always I forgot who's the one that made the disgusting, like 3D printed Glock mag that has a curve to it.
Well, yeah,
Oh, I
I
remember
think
that
that was Neutron Nick. I think it was maybe that made the original one. But yeah, the like, banana mag
Right.
out of that was a Glock mag.
Yeah,
I don't know. I kind of like that.
I mean, like Glock mags at least have the one thing going for them: they're reliable and they do work pretty well. It's just, yeah, I get why some people don't like them. Your doppelganger that might be in the chat right now also has his own opinions about it too. I know, but that's also, I guess, probably why the Urtel uses its own. I think that was actually what Parrot said. The reason why he didn't like Glock mags it probably would be easier for everyone here, but it doesn't look nearly as nice, and I can kind of agree with that.
Right.
But yeah, I guess for the first release of the year, it was. I mean, it's a good thing that one finally came out because that thing probably was in development since I want to say the FGC 9 originally dropped or Mark II dropped.
It was for a while, for certain.
Sounds about right.
But yeah, that one finally got pushed to the finish line. Let's go to the next one. I guess I'll introduce this one. It's Ivan's Dong. Everyone knows Ivan, our favorite. I guess loves more of a shotgun lover nowadays. But believe it or not, before he kept talking about shotguns and ARs, he really liked the Plastikov and his AKs. And I guess he released. I think this was just basically it's just a copy of the Romanian Dong, but you could put it on other AKs, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
No.
It's just a normal AKM Dong that you can 3D print and put on your AK. So, I wish I have more else to say to that one. I don't know what other development went to that. But
what honest, upstanding, hardworking, red-blooded American doesn't want Ivan's Dong in their hands?
I mean, God knows I do.
Yeah. Every time I watch This Week in Guns, I just think about it. It's like, if only I had Ivan's Dong in my hand.
Oh God.
What everyone should think of, really.
I mean, maybe you could put the Dong on something else too. Maybe why does it have to stock an AKMs? Why not just someone can also edit that to put it onto an AR too? Or hell, it'd be funnier.
Yeah, I mean,
put it on a shotgun.
that's why I'm SBR.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm
3011.
Yeah, I was going to say I got some SBR, some SBR stamps here recently, just so I could put some dongs on some pistols.
So I've got a
that,
3011 here on the wall. It's the sniper edition, the 16-inch barrel.
Oh,
and,
that's fun.
And a pistol bayonet, and I think I'm going to put Ivan's Dong on it because it'd be mildly amusing.
I was going to make a Draco, like a Plastikov, and I think it needs Ivan's Dong on it.
Oh,
I'm gonna SBR it. I'm gonna SBR it, and yeah.
I should totally do a 3011. I should SBR my 3011 and just put a dong on there. I think that'd be a good idea. That'd be a good use of my $0 tax stamps. Make sure that waging at the ATF works for that payment. All right.
I think the Recession Ruger could use Ivan's Dong as well.
Absolutely. It's a prime candidate.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I've got a DD17 that could use Ivan's Dong.
Oh, that's a glorious choice.
You put a sling mount on Ivan's Dong. Is it considered a Prince Albert?
I think this is it's a good time to move on to the next one.
We need to keep exploring this.
Sounding. Let's talk about sounding for a minute.
Well, that goes to the good one of the next one of the SSS Czar, which is something about sounding. I'm pretty sure too, but
yeah.
Sounding super safe. My bad. That's what it is. Sounding super safe Czar V3, a printable, super safety compatible VZ61 receiver that came out about like a week later.
Yes.
And
that thing's cool.
Yeah, no, I guess we could talk about that one. That kind of goes, I would say, into the whole trend of this year. This year, I feel like this year is bigger than all of them. Of a lot of things just wanting super safeties. I feel like super safeties really started becoming a much bigger thing this year as well.
FRTs. I mean, there's like this.
Yeah.
I see FRT. The people putting FRTs in fucking everything. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, well, I want to say last year, I think when you were also beta manager 2, Dr. Death, there was a bunch of people that were just trying to put super safeties into literally everything.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, that was huge. And then the ATF did their nonsense and it cooled it down for a while, and then no one's sort of sure what's going on right now, really, as far as I know. But like people are doing it and I approve of it because it's cool.
Well, I mean, like,
Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is funny.
It is.
I do hope. Well, I do hope that they some of the people who caught like a little bit of a burn from having to pay for their ammunition, but
Yeah.
I'm just, I mean, I remember, like, there was a solid, like, a bunch of people trying to get into Mac Daddies. Surprisingly,
The Mac,
the Mac Daddy was a big one. Someone needs to find a good way to put it in a Masterpiece ARM, so in that case you can get, like, you can also get all of Chicago to join you in that one. I feel like that would be a good way of testing out your design too. But, like, there was definitely...
Even just like a basic M11-9, that'd be cool.
They're just...
Like an OG frame?
Yeah, yeah. I wish I knew someone that was making one of those.
Well, I mean, like, this year...
I wish they would send me the new files.
Oh, shit.
Maybe you can maybe ask...
So that I could SBR it.
You should commission Pemby to make a bullshit pistol one for a Lorson.
That would be hilarious. I'm trying to think how that would even work.
You put a force reset in a Lorson.
In a Lorson, I don't know. That'd be interesting. I think it would just. Never mind.
Well, none of the.
It might self-destruct on you.
Oh,
it would just turn into like an open bolt submachine gun by that
yeah,
point.
right.
Yeah, I can't imagine wanting to do that for a pistol. But hey, everyone has their own opinions on what they want to do things with. But I guess the SSS Czar was kind of a pistol in that way. But I want to say, like, this is probably around where we are now, where a lot of things were just having super safety compatible things. I know, that dev, was it like CGU or CS13GUR?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's super smart, man. Like the ingenuity behind applying the super safety principle to the just menagerie of weapons has really been something to watch.
I want to say,
I think I've seen him.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've seen him, architect, like, for example, in this particular scenario, architect trip arms that there just barely is enough space for, and it's just ingenious. That's kind of the ridiculousness of trying to get around the NFA is that, ingenuity, with the autists we have in the space. I mean, there's no way that you're ever going to, use the current framework to prohibit anything like that. These guys will figure out a way to get around it. Any kind of stipulation you put out there.
Well, I remember, I think it was last year, he definitely did, like, basically every, like, G3 set me MP9 or MP5, like anything that was roller delayed, the man had, like, something for. And, like, that led a bunch of other people to try a bunch of things. Some of them that weren't made into the catalog. I think someone made one finally for, like, a Chris Vector too, which is, like, in that case, like, congratulations on that one, making the Vector finally useful in the civilian market. But
come on, Call of Duty 2 or Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, the whole point is it needs to be, like, full auto for that whole, like, recoil system to be useful.
Yeah, no, I'm joking.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's a good thing that I guess people, like, we're trying their best to be making cool things for things. Really, the most interesting development of this year about super safeties, I would say, is that it's less you need to worry about the ATF. It's more about fucking Rare Breed Demonico that's trying to go after you.
Isn't that something? I mean, I knew it was going to be ugly, but I didn't think it was going to be as ugly as it's ended up turning into. And I mean,
well, I didn't expect him to wander around the GOA show trying to hand out P&Ds to people.
Yeah, right.
That was in the realm of retarded things to do. That's like up there, you know?
Yeah, it's up there, bro.
I mean,
Probably setting new bars of all time retardation.
well, because I mean, like
Really?
the GOAs, I think their whole event was meant to celebrate like gun owners. I think that was the whole point, was fighting for the 2A, and their Rare Breeds answered, people that were fighting for the 2A, try to do super safeties like our wonderful gun here. His answer was walk around with a bunch of, I guess, cease and desist and handing them out to every single one of the
Very disappointing.
super safety
It
vendors.
burned any goodwill.
Well,
Any goodwill.
there's again something that we're all missing, in which apparently I've heard there are tapes out there. There is recorded footage of Lawrence DeMonico finding Hoffman, where they went into a shouting match of Tim Hoffman with
talked to him about
DeMonico.
it.
And you know what? No one has ever posted that video, and I still have a bounty on that one. I will gladly hold I'm going to raise my $20 bounty to $60, maybe $100, if someone can find that video, because I want to see. I want to see DeMonico. I want to see Hoffman yelling. Actually, I can't imagine Hoffman actually angrily yelling at someone.
I would watch it just for that.
Yes.
This is what I'll be doing during SHOT Show.
Just follow DeMonico around with the camera.
I'm gonna follow Hoffman. I'm gonna try to
totally.
push him together, see if I can somehow convince him to walk like cross paths at the same time, where I could just go hide behind one of the flower pots in the Venetian and just zoom in and watch it.
Just invite him to the same after party.
Oh goodness,
Yeah. Right.
I would love to watch that. But no, yeah, I would say the SSSRs are. I mean, what is it? The VZ lower has been one of I want to say that was one of the first major 3D printed
Early
frames to begin with. And
Oh,
then
really early.
yeah, it's one of the original ones that people did. So it's kind of interesting seeing that one being updated to today's modern things of super safety. So it's kind of cool. I guess the VZ still gets love. I don't have one myself. I think it's 32
You should
ACP.
pick that.
Well, yeah, it's 32 ACP, right? It's too expensive.
Yeah, I love 32. Love
Well,
32.
there are some unicorns out there. I think there's a 380. I want to say there might even be a 9mm.
There's a 9x18 Mac.
Or maybe that
Is that actually
There's
better?
a 9x19, but it's weird.
Oh, do you? It's odd.
I think my friend was trying to tell me there was the Swiss M9 or some sort of Swiss gun that they had. It was a 9x21 or something. That was really cheap on gun.
Oh, yeah.
But
wow.
Well, yeah, because where are you going to get the ammo?
well, that's exactly. This is the common theme with these. But believe it or not, the VZ was a very, very popular gun. Feels weird saying that now, but I guess I wonder how many people know about the VZ printed frames. But
By the way, I did talk to Hoffman after that incident, and I said, "Hey, man, congratulations on telling them to shove it up their ass." And he goes, he said to me, he's like, "I didn't go that far. I just explained to them that they're wrong." He's such a polite person. I have no idea what he would look like angry.
that's exactly it. I need to witness that myself. I believe, your doppelganger Uberpoor said he witnessed it. But then again, he could also be telling a fib. And, I want to see it for myself. Maybe I'll be lucky this year for SHOT Show. But do you want to go introduce the next one to Uber Clay?
Yeah. Then after that, we had the Apple Fritter. So the Apple Fritter was kind of like the V2 of the Apple Pie. It was an improved version of the Apple Pie, and it supported all the short barrel variants of the AR-15. It's a pump action AR-15 is what that is. So it's got a ton of options. It's infinitely customizable. You basically when you get into that release, there's 30 different ways you can build that gun. So very cool project.
Okay, so I remember the Apple Fritter. I actually did shoot that last SHOT Show, I think. I believe that one was, it was 3D Arms, I think. 3D Arms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had that one, and he had it in 300 blackout with suppressor on it, which, again, in the wonderful times of $0 tax stamps, 300 blackout with 300 blackout subs with suppressor on it on a, I guess, pump action AR. Very much
Silent,
hearing safe.
yeah.
Like it is. I didn't even need to put on ear pro for it. It was actually just very quiet, which I thought was really cool. Very neat. That's probably my favorite use case of the Apple fritter. But I think pump action stuff. It's one of those goofy things that I like the goofy stuff like this. Maybe it's
It also
California
comes in
legal
handy
too.
if you live in a banned state. Yeah. If you live in a banned state or a banned country, I mean, depending on what countries allow 3D printing. But honestly, it's neat. And for a suppressor host, especially subsonics, I mean, or for hunting, it's a great platform.
I mean, yeah.
I like it. I've only had a little bit of experience with it at the IV88 shoot, but it did put it on my list of guns to build in the very near future when I have free time to do that.
Yes. Oh my God, tell me about it.
I do wonder though on the whole 3D printed could I technically make I'm pretty sure this would be California legal if it wasn't 3D printed, I guess, or you could just do it if you live in California, can't you? I don't want to tell someone from California to go ahead and just do this. I mean, if you're going to go this
route, you'd have to check your laws.
Yeah. Follow
and
your
they're
local
updated
laws.
If you're in California, you have to somehow get a serial number from the Department of State or something.
All I'll say is the old friend of the channel, Freeman, wouldn't go for any tax stamps, but
of course. Oh,
sorry, I had to. But
too soon.
But I mean, if anything, maybe also for hunting laws as well. 'Cause don't some states have laws on
some states don't allow it. Some states require to use straight wall cartridges that don't cycle really well, and they are
fucking shotguns. Yeah.
So,
there's all
some
sorts of
states
weird
have round limits, so you couldn't use a 5-round mag in your build.
Because I mean, 300 blackout supers, I believe, are also still pretty powerful. I know people hunt hogs with that. Used to be more AK ammo, but 300 supers, I think they're now taking over that niche for hog hunting. But yeah, it's a nice little pump action AR. I think it uses I'm not good at actual AR parts terminology, but it's the front part of the bolt carrier, right? It's a printed bolt carrier with the
bolt.
Oh, does it actually use a full
bolt.
Use a full AR bolt?
Yeah, it's the bolt carrier and then the bolt.
Oh, that little twisty thing is the bolt.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It carries the bolt.
It carries the bolt.
Oh wow, okay, yeah, that makes so much more sense.
And then you put them together, you have a bolt carrier group.
Oh,
right.
Because they're together.
I think this was probably the first project that had the Apple Pi was the first project that I saw that had a printed carrier that you could 3D print the carrier to put the bolt in.
That is exciting. That is really exciting.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, saves you money.
I'm in my wife's office, and I just found a note from the last time I was in here, and it's all these betas from 2019. Or not 2019, 2022. I mean,
I'm glad to see that you were so dedicated, and that's such a respectable thing. And your loss is still talked about to this day. But
indeed,
I think
babies take a lot of time.
Shocker on that one. Who would have guessed? But speaking about a lot of time, we should also look at the next release that came out of the Rebel 9, which I think the Rebel 9, for those who don't remember, this was Immortal Revolt's 9mm PCC that was meant to be fully DIY-able. And I want to say the most interesting thing about this one in particular was it's 3D printed jigs, because
Oh, am I back? What happened?
Nothing happened from you're good.
My computer zonked out or something. I don't know what happened.
But
can you?
Someone's bringing up about the printed bulk carrier while we wait for Dr. Death to figure out what's going on. Someone brought up the VC-15. Yes, that one will come out eventually if you pester Batto Batto really hard. I'm sure that thing will come out soon. Who knows?
That's Batto's lever gun, right?
That's Batto's
Yeah,
lever
yeah.
gun. We also have another
Actually
beta.
made one.
I forgot what month it is. Maybe it was 2 months ago, or maybe it was like October or August that we also have a Trash Panda that someone's trying to beat Batto at his own game. But
Yeah, I have to look at that one.
that's a beta that
That's
is still
pretty
currently going on for that one. I don't want to call Batto's one, defunct or anything or a dead project. I would never say that. I would never imply that. But
No, we're just gonna heavily lean into he needs to get fucking going on it.
hey, we all everyone takes their own time.
Someone's about to eat his lunch.
Someone's about to eat his lunch and seal his upload for that one. But hey, you got if he's hearing this right now, that's something to keep in mind. But what we're talking about, we're talking about the Rebel 9 specifically, and that was Immortal Revolts. Yeah, it's a printed hybrid PCC, similar to that of the vein of the Ortau or the FGC 9.
Yes.
However,
Yeah.
my conversation even with the parrot boy himself, who really loves his Ortau, said he told me, the Ortau is a fun gun. I like it a lot. But if I were like an actual situation with like life and death, and I had to choose the best printed gun possible, probably would be the Rebel 9. That would be the one that if I was like a Myanmar rebel, that's probably what I would want to use. Which is
Immortal had a very. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's a very good way. I'd say a very good recommendation.
It is. It is. He was very detail oriented when it came to his actual designs. He knew what he wanted to build, and he had some really interesting ideas. Incredibly intelligent person. I don't believe he's still designing anymore, but he the Rebel 9. I remember when he was talking to me about it and everything, and just. He put together a great, compact little PCC with a ton of handy features specifically designed for, like, if you're in an urban situation or close quarters or something like that. It's a good one to use.
I think this is both this and the Rogue both had that opportunity where it used the moose can over
Yes.
the printed suppressor, which I really thought is a stroke of genius.
It is. It is.
It was just like, dude, it just blew my mind the first time I saw it. I was like, that is dope. It really set a new bar as far as printed jigs are concerned, and the home manufacturing dynamic, if you want to call it. And the ingenuity just wins out because it just goes to show with a little creativity and some motivation. I mean, you straight up machining full on bolts and whatnot, and not a single registered gun part. I mean, everything is 100%, raw materials or from the hardware store. So, if you live abroad or somewhere outside the United States, it's not a impediment.
It's something that you could possibly do.
Yeah, right. Well, the tracking gun, having gun parts being unavailable to you is not a barrier to entry.
I mean, I do remember.
Yeah.
I think maybe it was the Rogue 9v2 that probably became. I think the Rogue 9, or no, it was the Partisan V2. I think was the one that became the Rogue, and then this became its own thing, the Rebel 9.
Yeah.
I think you're right about that.
And this one had like an integral suppressor as well, built in the original files. This was before one of the later releases that had its own unique, I think, fire control group as well. Wasn't using a typical AR-15 fire control group, which is interesting to say the very least. And still uses your ECM barrel. I think it had other cool features like an extractor, an ejector kind of built in already, which was a very, very nice thing to have specifically for these type of I guess PCCs or whatever we're calling them. But yeah, this was one of the better ones.
Right.
From a reliability standpoint, it's handy to have to clear a jam, especially if you're doing something like homemade ammo, in this sort of apocalypse situation that you envision yourself, theoretically.
Right.
Do you got anything to say about it?
Not really. I mean, I don't have that much experience with this particular build. I've looked at it quite a bit, but the demands of my last year have prevented me from really diving into it. I know it was well tested and well received, and that's really about all I can say at the moment.
I'll say, if anything, that is probably a good way of also... that is sort of where the Rebel 9 is kind of, with a lot of people, is that it is one of the better ones. The issue is it's very DIY-able, which is a good thing and a bad thing of it. It's more meant to be DIY, and it's very... For most people, it's very kind of... It's a lot of time to do it. Just because it's DIY-able doesn't mean that it's the easiest or quickest thing to do. And...
Oh, no, it's a lot of work to put one together.
It's a process, which... A lot of it is documented very well, where if you do want to go with it, you will be supported the whole way through of it. But that being said, though, don't think it's like building an AR. Like, that is the worst way of viewing this thing. It's very, very complicated. You're going to be drilling through a lot of things. With ECM barrels as well, I don't think there's a Glock barrel option for it, too. So you're going to have to also learn about head spacing it properly. I mean, at least you have an ejector and extractor, but the firing pin its own self, the fun machining jigs still means you have to do a bit of machining as well. It's not the easiest, I would say, to do, but this is probably closer to the best designed, if you want to go that way.
I will
DIY,
say
right?
This has nothing to do with the Rebel 9, but the Glock barrel conversions for the FGC 9 and the Urtau, few things in the world piss me off more than that.
Go ahead, tell us why.
Because so we're dealing with plastic, very squishy plastic. Once it gets a little warm, and the barrel just gets warm, and so when you have a very thin face, putting all of its force against the plastic might not last very long. And then you have people go, why did my thing last very long? Why is it broken? Why is my barrel drooping? Well, because you used a Glock barrel. Don't do that. Anyway, rant over.
Where was
the Glock barrels were bad, but the RP9 barrels were worse.
Shut up!
I remember those.
Shut your mouth! Shut your mouth! Hey man, I made that thing work. All right, it worked. It worked. But damn, you tell me where, like, even with ECM, you cannot match a $20 barrel price. All right,
you paid $20. I paid $10.
I paid $10. I paid $20 because I bought two. I forgot. That's right. I paid $20 because
there you go. I was gonna say. I thought that the whole point was that they were like $10.
I bought two.
You both paid too much. You should have just punched the crack dealer and stole it.
I mean,
I still have that floating around here somewhere.
The RP9 is truly a special thing, because I remember there were parts kits, like full-on parts kits with the slide and all the other things with it too, that you could buy for probably maybe like $50, $40, and not a single person tried to make a 3D printed RP9 frame.
No.
I think the most you got were some uploads of FGC 9s using RP9 barrels, Mod 9s using RP9 barrels, and that was about it. And then the RP9 barrel like surplus dried up very quickly, and then now most, when I say the word RP9, people are probably searching it up trying to figure out what the hell was the RP9. Which is, I think I did search it up. Apparently, I think it had an issue where, like, if water got into it, it can cause like the firing pin to lock, which is
all sorts of issues.
Like, that was one issue that just stuck out to me. Of like, wait, are you telling me if I put water in this, I could have like a full auto hand cut? That's a terrible. Like, how is that even possible? But hey,
we also had the R51 that didn't even work. I saw one of those in the gun store the other day.
That is,
and I almost bought it. The R51. It was this. It actually looked cool, but I guess the production quality was so low.
Is that the
and
Remington?
It's not like the Remington, the R51. Yeah, and apparently they just had their tolerances completely out of whack, and it did not work. And this is not a matter of like the Colt All-American 2000, which Ivan and Fudbusters will tell you is actually a good gun, and then they talked me into buying one, and I actually really like it, and I'll probably start carrying it. This was a genuinely bad gun.
I mean, that was the issue with the all RP9 stuff. I wanted a Remington to be good, but no.
Yeah, Remington hasn't been good since the 80s.
No, not since they got bought out at the very
like
least.
12 times.
Yeah,
Yes.
which one are we're no
And
longer?
then each time they cut corners.
It's not Freedom Group
Yeah,
anymore,
and-
right?
Who knows?
No,
Probably Palmetto.
No, they got bought out by old executives, but then they declared bankruptcy again. But I guess they still hold on to it, but they're not allowed to use the Remington name anymore because they lost the trademark. So now it's Rem Arms, and they license being able to stamp Remington on any of the guns. And I think the only thing they make anymore is the 870, maybe the 1100, and the Model 700. So that's not going to last.
Yeah, I was gonna
So
say.
the Remington name is just money laundering now.
Yes.
Nice.
Nice.
You know, all I gotta say is I like my Mossberg 500. All right, but
That's the best.
yeah. Aside from that, the Rebel 9. I guess the big things about that one are, it's if someone does build one of those, I'd love to see it. If I could finally squeeze some good time, I would totally build one. But it is probably one of the best printed guns that a lot of people will probably not build because it's not a parts kit, and it's more meant for people that are willing to go that extra mile to
In
DIY.
need.
If you want
Right.
a fun, like if you want something harder than an FGC 9 or an Urtau or something, but that will be a better 3D printed gun, this is probably the choice for you. It is going to be a project though, so don't expect it to be easy.
Well, the
But-
nice thing is, too, though, if you make one now and you want to put a can on it, you want to have it suppressed, you can do that without the $200 stamp.
And you can,
Yeah.
I don't even think it came with a brace option, so you know what? You could also just
So
go the
it's
full extra mile.
Perfect.
I think
Perfect
Yeah,
time.
I don't think it did either.
why this was not made.
Uh,
This was made for a different type of people, or a different type of person.
yeah, it kind of operated outside normal paradigm there. Yep.
Lots of tracksuits.
But hey,
Yeah.
well, speaking of good old tracksuits, so you want to introduce the next one
Uh-huh.
too?
Yeah. Well, the 3DSS was the one that released after the Rebel 9, and I don't know if you remember, they had a banger of a video.
Oh, it was
when it
Peacekeeper, if I
released,
remember right. Yeah, it's Peacekeeper.
Yeah. I mean, it's really dope work. They it's kind of a Mac-based platform, but a 3D printable lookalike VSS. I think it uses Mac Bolt anyways, and they had ways of creating a faux suppressed integrally suppressed barrel, and then there was a path in there to make a realized real integrally suppressed barrel. Yeah, like
I
what is
just
it?
mispronounced it, too, so sorry.
Yeah, what
Integrally.
yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. But anyways, it's really cool, man, and it's got a vibe. I mean, it goes really hard, really hard.
So does it use the full Mac upper or just the bolt?
I want to say it's the bolt.
It's the
because I
bolts.
think that
It's the bolt, I believe.
I think the uppers. I want to believe. I want to say the uppers printed. I think I want. I'd have to pull it up to refresh my memory, but I want to say that the bolt is the primary Mac
The heart
Mac.
of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's good because I've got this really awesome bolt made by these guys called MAF Corp. I don't know if any of you have heard of them, but that thing's awesome, and I'd love to slap one of those into this.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I mean, so
MAF Corp sounds really gay.
I
know,
Just gonna
but
throw
you
that
gotta
out there.
support them.
so I do remember the.
I
what
like
was-
to be inclusive.
Right.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a DEI company.
I think it's only minority owned.
Yeah,
Holy
right.
crap, man!
Minorities and women.
That's
Uh-huh.
you know what? I'm so proud of this generation.
Well, I do remember though.
I'm
with
not
this-
kidding either.
That's the best part.
For the Peacekeeper, where was it? I mean, the 3DSS is, I believe it is, 3D printed upper. Everything else is printed, or it's basically the printed Mac Daddy, but with the printed upper. It is 100% a kit gun. I thought the original one that released was meant to be actually integrally suppressed. Like, I think the original one was fully suppressed, and I think I brought that up of, hey, you know, what if only it wasn't?
The original VSS from Russia?
Well, that one too, of course, and that's why the 3DSS,
Yeah, that
I
one,
believe,
yeah.
also did make it originally integrally suppressed. It then, I think,
I want to say they had a version, that was like a non-NFA version.
Well, because I remember, I think Peacekeeper was
So,
watching that
it's
video when I
not-
uploaded it, and then he said, "All right, fine, we can make an easily flashcan version." I think he did later.
Is it
No,
only
okay.
a flash cam version, or is there a suppressed version as well?
Believe
No, I think there's a suppressed version for sure.
There's definitely
I think there
suppressed
is a
version. I think the
suppressed
suppressed version was the original one. Then he made a faux one for those who didn't want to deal
gotcha,
with the extra bit of it.
Because I'd love to build the suppressed version.
Well, I mean,
that'd be
now.
awesome.
Well, now we can. Now you don't have to worry about
now
anything.
especially. Yeah.
Why
Well,
not?
you have to worry about not messing up your paperwork or something. But yeah,
Well, of course,
Yeah, it's fine. The government doesn't care.
the government doesn't care, but sometimes they do. But remember, everyone, you didn't buy anything yet. You're waiting to buy everything once your form is approved. You do not have any filament that you're going to use extra. You do not have any screws laying around that you're going to use to build it. You are buying everything for the first time immediately.
Right.
Simple things not to be denied immediately. But
I do wonder how many people submitted Form 1s with just a screenshot off of Amazon of the spool of filament and no other information.
I
So,
love the idea of it.
Yeah. One of my submissions, I asked AI to generate an AI photo of a roll of spoolement, a roll of filament and a fucking piece of pipe for basically a Liberator shotgun, for a short barrel shotgun, Form 1, and I'm gonna wait and see if that gets rejected. They rejected one of my photos because there was guns in the background, like a bunch of dumbasses. But
because they would get confused which one you were talking about.
It's just so stupid because it's very obvious the gun in the foreground is the one that I'm talking about. But whatever. They were like, no, you can't have guns in the background. So, I did get some approvals back. Speaking of suppressed Macs, I put a FTN5 on a Mac Daddy, and I've been having a lot of fun with that thing. It is fucking banging.
well, I was going to mention that one as a not release yet, but a fun little thing to bring up at the end of it. But yes, I mean, I guess we should also probably mention, this year was started off with a fun little bang. I want to say where a lot of journos were getting upset about things, specifically because of that was right after the Manchione thing.
Right.
Oh, that was a fun time. I went to go get my fingerprints done, and they told me that I had to have a valid reason for it. So I had to look up the code to work with kids and stuff. And all that I ended up getting back from them after paying was a certificate saying that I am qualified to work for kids. I did not get any fingerprints, and then I had to drive a half hour to another place.
Did you go to the UPS store?
The second time I went to UPS, the first time I went to a local place that said that it did digital printing. I was like, oh, cool. This is easy.
I walked the first time I went to get my fingerprints card done. I walked into the UPS store. I'm like, hey, I need to do the digital fingerprint file. And they're like, their eyes just glazed over and they looked at me like I was retarded. And I'm like, the thing that scans my fingerprint to send to the government. And they're like, I don't understand. And then I just left. I'm like, I can't be fucked to deal with you guys.
I just did that today. I finally got them. I had to drive into inner city to a super sketchy neighborhood UPS store. And the one I just walked up and they're like, what do you need these for? I'm like, I want to buy a silencer. And the one guy's like, oh, cool, man. My dad just got one of those. Hang on.
You should have told him you were making your own silencers.
I should have.
There you go.
And then sent him to controlq.com for the guide on filling out the Form 1.
I didn't think of that.
I had a similar experience.
Go ahead.
When I had a similar experience when I went to the print scan. I went early when they opened, and this cat was working there. He's probably 18, and he had absolutely no idea about anything, and he was just like, I don't know, man, it's over there. I don't know. I think it's turned on, man. Just have at it, So I I was a dumbass. I just showed up at the store and I didn't make an account or an appointment, print scan or prepay and all that bullshit.
I had to do it on my phone.
Yeah, so I just stood there in the store and did it on my phone, and then scanned the QR code, and I was off and running. But the total like glazed over, had no idea about anything. Guy just walked over, like put in his passcode, and then clicked some boxes, and I just did the rest. It was funny.
Now that's what I did. I wasn't super pressured on time because here in the driving into the inner city, I took my wife and kids and I dropped them off at like this crappy shopping mall, and I was like, okay, I'll be back because I'm a good dad.
Interesting.
They have shopping malls where you're from?
I
Strip
said
malls.
inner city, so that tells you what this really was.
Hey,
That's so funny.
at least
There's a
She got good
laundromat, a
deals.
nail place, a Chinese
Yeah,
food place.
pretty
Yeah,
much.
I gotcha.
She got some discount clothes and stuff.
It's at the outlet mall. Yeah.
She was
Goodwill
happy.
next to a Salvation Army.
Yeah, she's like, that guy over there selling like candy. I bought some of that. I'm like, oh, we're gonna have a fun night.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
yeah, that sounds like a good time. But yeah, anyways, this was the 3DSS. Basically, it comes with a suppressor that again now you can easily form one. Hell, you could probably wait. I think the original one was 16 inches. I think you're supposed to use like those goofy 16-inch barrel max, or you could just. I think maybe it was 3D printed like 16 inches too. I forgot how the way suppressors and like SPR laws work in that regard of barrel extensions and what constitutes a barrel extension. But
There's something to do with permanent attachment, but I don't know how it works.
anyways, you could probably.
Would you like me to educate you?
Yeah, I guess you could if you wanted to.
Okay, so if it's permanently attached, it counts as part of the barrel. If it comes off, it's not part of the barrel, so it doesn't count for your barrel length.
Comes off with how much work?
No, there was
any amount of work.
There was a company for a while selling permanently attached, suppressed inline muzzle loaders, and I never knew how the law worked around that, but I remember those ads.
Well, it's a muzzle loader, so it's not a firearm.
That's what I thought. And then since it was permanently attached, it didn't count as a silencer either, apparently. I don't know.
Right. Yep, because it couldn't be detached and then put on your rifle.
So you're telling me that if we design a gun that you can load the center fire cartridge from the barrel into the firearm and fire it, and it's still a muzzle loader?
As long as it doesn't take a shotgun primer, yeah.
Oh.
Loophole.
I also found
This is fun.
I remember I found a fun loophole. It was like during SHOT Show too, where it was like it was the one SHOT Show gimmick I liked, where it was like if a pistol, you can attach like a stock on a. It wasn't a real stock on a pistol, but like it can't actually physically attach or something. It was a weird, not brace, not stock thing because it just sort
The thing
of
that looks like a human hand.
No,
What?
it was
It's
like
a grip extension, or like a saddle for the back of a pistol grip.
yes,
and it just sort of sat there.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
They had a fun SHOT Show or deal for it that I got. Every time I've shot, I was like, you know what, this thing's goofy and I like it actually.
Yeah, we need to model one of those.
The silly shit gun people cook up is silly.
Because I handed it to a person, it fits like CZs and like Glocks usually pretty well, and it just like when you have that like stability to it, man, that shit becomes like a fucking tack driver. But because it's not like technically attached to it, it's not like they don't have to use the brace terminology on it either. I don't understand how the hell it worked, but it was like this weird, not actual stock, but closer to a stock than a brace, but it's not a stock because it's not attached. Laws are fun.
I was gonna say, I think this just goes to show how stupid the NFA is and outdated.
Agreed.
I follow our local laws just like I'm following a list of things. But what's the next? What's the next one we have after the VSS? By the way, I think it's the Ruger, right?
Yeah, the regular 1022. That's one by Yeezy Prince and Internet Pizza.
Oh yes,
I think I know that Yeezy guy.
I haven't heard of him before, but I remember this one. I think it's just this whole purpose was it's a Ruger that it's just a 1022 printed receiver that was meant to not be like the.
The space is full of 1022 builds, but they're all like super stylized and they're crazy. Some of them are real crazy looking, and I think the desire here, and they actually nailed it, is a 3D printed 1022 that is very reminiscent of the OEM, configuration. So if you want a 1022 that's like actually looks like a 1022, this is the one for you. I think that's appropriate because there's a bunch of different 1022 stuff out there, but it's all kind of cursed. I mean, some of it's really cool. It's not like it's all shit, but none of it looks normal.
Yeah, these were very regular, standard 20, your grandpappy's 1022.
I like that.
Yeah, there's something.
People love the 1022. I mean, some people love the 1022.
Yeah, some people.
I mean,
it's a fine gun.
It's fun. I've had one since I was 12, and I think I've shot it 3 times.
It's good to know that Ivan isn't whispering the back of your ear.
I got a Henry, and I shot that so much that the finish wore off. But anyway.
I like the 1022.
What do you have against Finnish people?
Yeah. Too damn light.
The 1022s, I like it. It's a fun little gun. But yeah, I mean...
It is a good gun.
Yeah, I would never insult wonderful developers like DB, who's made several 1022 frames that are
like the 1022.
either goofily folding ones and all those other fun stuff with carbon fiber like barrels and shit. But yeah, I mean, this one did the very bold Apple take of just doing basic shit that everyone else has already been doing normally in like the traditional gun industry. It's just a 1022. That's
back in my edgier days.
There is nothing
back
special.
Back in my edgier days, I used to keep a 1022 with a Butler Creek folding stock hidden in a duffel bag under the back seat of my truck, like I was some cool guy, or like, I'm gonna totally need this. Yeah, I grew out of that quick.
We're proud of you.
Thanks.
Yeah, you can cause some ruckus with a 1022. You just got to make sure your shot placement's on point.
See,
I used to spend a lot of time like way out in the woods, though. To be fair,
I've used a 1022 to help people like first learn shooting. Give it like a scope on it, so it's like almost a nice little like pretend marksman rifle. Put them on like the falling seal bay, but the issue with the falling seal bay is like it still won't set it off, so to shoot like 2 or 3 shots like pretty quickly after it to like knock over it. It was a good learning tool, I would say, for the 1022.
I think it's a fun gun. I do like them.
So, fun fact: if it was the end of the world and you could have one gun that was going to sustain you throughout the apocalypse, I think a 1022 is actually a good candidate. What do you say, Doc? Okay,
I say
what's better?
Mossberg 500 with a poly choke.
So I can carry 5,000 rounds of 1022 ammunition in my backpack. You didn't say anything
about ammunition. You said one gun. So you can.
I think the ammunition is implied.
Yeah, ammunition is implied, Doc. You're not going to carry 5,000 shotgun shells on your back.
You don't know me. No, I'm kidding. Oh, that's fair. I think if you're moving around a 1022 for sure. I was thinking more of like cabin in the woods situation.
No, this is like everything has really gone to shit, and it's probably not safe to stay in any one place for longer than a few days.
If you're totally just moving around, then yeah, probably a 1022, some sort of semi-auto 22 suppressed. That would probably do you pretty good. Like I said, though, the most versatile gun that you're going to ever get is a 12 gauge pump action with poly choke.
Yeah. Okay.
That's more what I was looking at. So I agree with you on like, Survivor, man, like this is it. Got to keep moving.
Yeah. I think if you were 22. Yeah, if you're left to only what you can carry and home base is not a thing. 1022 is not a bad choice just because it's very versatile.
Do vehicles not exist in your apocalypse?
Okay, thank you. I was thinking that, but I didn't want to be a jerk.
Because, like, look, here's my bet. My money is on like a SIG 552 or a 550 because they're, it's a 223, but it's better, and so I can always restock. Supply drops are pretty common.
Could be.
And then, I'll still look cooler than all of them because it's not an AR-15.
You know what? I'm going to go with like a Heckler and Koch G3 because I'm a real man, and that's what
Oh God.
You guys can have 5.56 and stuff, but
Are you even big enough to? Are you even big enough to sustain that recoil?
Yes,
I mean,
I
look,
am.
though,
Thank you.
You have to keep in mind the resupply capacity of your G3 there. Not a lot of NATO troops carry 308.
And not only that, but the first time it breaks, you're not going to have any parts. At least if you had an AR, if something started going out on you or broke, it'd be pretty easy to find some replacements.
And you know what? Same with like the Glock 17 or the Glock 19. Like every police department uses one of those, so you can always find parts and ammo.
Unfortunately, they hardly ever break. They just suck. But they do run forever.
I remember these actual arguments. I remember going on internet forums and seeing people like mouthlessly drooling over their keyboard, or like endlessly drooling over the keyboard, typing this crap. It's like, oh no, I'm going to be the best because I bought a thermal scope from Walmart and like, I'm just going to take down anyone that comes onto my farm. It's like, dude, you have to sleep sometime. And if you piss off every one of your neighbors, you're dead.
Yeah,
I mean,
hey, that's why you have
landmines. That's why you make landmines, dude.
What are you going to do when the thermal scope runs out of batteries and there's, you don't have any batteries to put in it,
the solar USB, man.
Yeah, solar USB, man. This was a pretty easy one.
USB.
Why did you ask a simple question?
Those things, and I tried it during a power outage, and it sucked so bad I threw it away.
I mean, you didn't need me to tell you that. You're better off getting a diesel engine.
Screw this thing.
That being said, though, yes, the regular 1022 made by our favorite communists is, yes, it's a very simple design that anyone can make. But
yes,
I'll introduce the next one because this is another fun one that I truly enjoy. The Pocket Pleaser, 3D printed Ruger LCP Gen 1.
Love this one.
The Gen 1 LCPs are truly a special thing. It has that one, I forgot what it's called, but it's that trigger that gives you that fear of when you pull it, it feels like it takes like a second for the bullet to fire.
Right. The delay. It's almost like a delay.
Like
Does the Pocket Pleaser work with Kel-Tec parts kits?
Yeah, they're so similar that I have actually like done shit like swap triggers and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
From the Kel-Tec to the Ruger, they're almost the 3A. What is it? The fucking 3AT.
The P3AT. I carried one for years. I love it.
Yeah, they're almost identical. There's a couple of differences. Like you couldn't swap the frames, but a lot of the parts in the kit are swappable.
Okay,
the third gun I bought was an LCP. I did regret it.
Buy one because it made me mad that they cloned the Kel-Tec, and I'm just like that petty. And I don't know why I was that petty because they're a perfectly fine gun, but
Cabbage did a good job with this
cocaine energy.
Yeah, right. It didn't have the Lorson vibe.
It didn't. It didn't. No, it felt too nice, too clean. I don't like it.
It's too upscale.
Yeah, exactly. That's not my style.
My friend is the LCP too, and I like that one a lot. I'm just not a big fan of whatever the one.
True.
This one is.
I'm interested in the LCP Max, just because it's so weird.
Is that the new one they just released? Like the one that supposedly takes like a red dot
double stack one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's just weird looking. And I don't know.
I carried.
Go ahead.
I carried one of these I'm sorry, not an LCP, but a 3PAT for a long time, and they're really convenient pocket guns.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Very. Like in the summer when you're not wearing a lot of stuff and you're worried about printing, you can get pocket holsters that basically just look like you've got a phone in your pocket, and it's really really convenient.
I used to use a Sneaky Pete holster, which made it look like I had a just a side holster or a side holster cell phone, whatever you want to call it. And so I looked like a nerd, but no one would expect that was a gun.
You looked like wait, what was it again?
Past tense?
Like what type of holster?
Sneaky Pete. It was a nylon holster that looked like a cell phone, but it had a gun in it, and it worked everywhere. I'm talking like I shouldn't finish that sentence. You could carry it like anywhere.
Doc is running around with that big old boomer side saddle thing on his belt.
That's exactly what I was imagining.
Nobody. They all thought it was a cell phone.
Oh my fucking god, bro! Holy shit! I am looking at this image I'm looking at these right now. Sneaky Pete holster. You were
Pete. They were advertised.
The man is literally
in a fanny pack.
Yeah, I can't.
Not in the P380. And back then, the phones were big enough. It worked.
I'm not gonna pull it up for everyone, but the best way I can describe
Are you sure you were putting a 3PAT in that? Because like you don't need anything that. Don't need
they made
a
bunch of different ones. You don't buy the tablet one.
Was that during your skinny jean phase, Doc, and you just couldn't put it in your front pocket?
I always wore boot cuts.
Yeah,
this is a loose T-shirt. Nobody'd question.
These Sneaky Pete holsters are literally like
never buy. They get ridiculously huge. Yeah. But the P3AT one was actually small.
Like a 1911 and a Sneaky Pete, you know?
Yeah. No, it looks like you're carrying around a freaking Dell.
Like maybe your guys' dad or like grandpa for some of you guys, like doesn't like putting his phone in his pocket and like needs the belt clip for his phone. That is the best description I have to this.
That's what they were supposed to look like.
It's not conspicuous at all, you know?
It just made me look like a loser. Nobody would question it.
Like
it was like, oh, look at that!
Look at this grandpa over here. Wow, yeah, what do you have in there? Your fucking calculator? You're like, what the fuck, dude?
It once fell off because the stupid things had a really crappy belt spring, and that's why I stopped carrying it. It fell off, and someone handed it to me and said, "Dude, you dropped your cell phone."
Bro, I'm looking at the Glock version, but it's like with like fucking alligator leather. Dear God.
Yeah,
like,
they get bad.
This is pathetic in a different way. But anyways, LCP Gen 1 frame. The LCP Gen 1 is probably my least favorite concealed carry gun. LCP is already kind of snappy. In 308, it's not that bad, but
380.
That like
308 would be real fun.
I mean, 380. It's one of those things where you have that like nightmare when you pull your trigger, the gun doesn't go off. That's usually how Ruger triggers feel to me. But LCPs are tiny, and you can make the argument if you're never really supposed to shoot those like anyways. Is like a backup carry gun.
Or table gun. But it's a good gun, and you can, like I said, you can conceal it almost anywhere.
I like the LCP
too. You can conceal the shit out of it, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I feel like a lot of people... The LCP is one of those like concealed carry guns that people do buy, though. So that's nice. I wonder how much those parts kits usually go for on Gunbroker now, anyways.
I don't know about about the LCP, but I did just get LC9 or whatever, and I got it. Actually, I got it's like the Gen 2, which is the LC9 that's striker fired and not hammer fired, and I actually kind of like the thing. It's interesting. It's a slick little. It's pretty slick. It's got a little bit of a bite. It barks a little bit, but so. Teeny tiny 9mm, so you gotta kind of want to watch how hot the ammo is you run in it.
Does the pocket use rails? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to mention that earlier. Cabbage did a great job, man. Designed his own rails for it, and it's very cool. We had a kind of a frame that you could get a few. Maybe a few hundred rounds out of if you printed it in nylon, but it just really wasn't sustainable for PLA. So he came up with some kind of they're not DIY, but I think he was selling them for a while. And I don't know if somebody else has started selling them yet or not, but they're not bad. They're whatever, they're $20 or something. But that kind of made that build happen in the size of the OEM. So it's still just absolutely as tiny as the OEM is.
I like it.
Well, I'm looking at. Let me go ahead and respond to someone. Will I be showing any of these things? No, but I should probably just post all the releases on a Twitter thread for underneath this this stream, just so people at least know exactly. All of these have been actually covered on the channel before. This one is actually for April, so if you were to go to April's video, you will be able to see a picture of what the Pocket Pleaser is. It is an LCP, but no, not for this stream. You will not be seeing any gun frames for this one. But going on to the
Can't
next...
do it, guys.
YouTube is YouTube, and I don't like dealing with YouTube sometimes. But the easiest one we can go to next one is... This one's a fun one, in that I forgot that this one released technically 2025. That's more of a shock to me. But this one is the printable tobacco pipe that is mixed with a Glock, which is called the Glong. Who wants to take the pleasure of introducing this one? How about you, Pew? Would you like to describe the Glock for everyone?
So when you slit your wrist, it's a Glong, man. Like, we've got some smoky boys and we've got some gun boys, and sometimes they commingle. And so, why not put a bong on your Glock or a water pipe for smoking tobacco, attached to your pistol, or a little Subway sandwich carrier, or whatever else, a vape. I can't wait for the vape Glock. That'll be coming out at some point, I'm sure. But or the Zin Glock. There we go. It's a funny, amusing modification to a firearm, something that you'll never see come out of the traditional gun industry, something that will only come out of a psychotic bunch of weirdos on the internet like us. And so, there it is, the Glong.
So fun.
I think it's a great statement. I mean, it's obviously very controversial to a certain group of people, but I think the idea here is that number one, in 3D2A, if you can think about it and imagine it, you can make it a reality. And then it's a statement of personal liberty. Like, I mean, who's to say can't put a pipe on a fucking gun, or vice versa?
Very Hunter S. Thompson coded.
Yeah, absolutely, man, 100%. So
I think that it's fun. I think that it sort of serves as a trophy for anyone 3D printing, as an expression of personal freedom. It also is an actual gun, and it's hilarious.
Absolutely.
Like, there's not much to say to it. It's got a great song that goes along with it, which is incredibly catchy, and everyone loves.
It's also a bong. Yeah.
A bong. Yeah. That's what it is. It's a Glock that's a bong. It's fun. Do it now. And also, I would like to say that the people that don't like it don't like polymer framed guns anyway. So, the sooner we're rid of them, the better we are.
And it's a great tool to enrage the FUDs. And, that should be all of our goals, when the opportunity arises, is, to break the Glong out and, piss off a bunch of FUDs. There isn't a whole lot that's more enjoyable in life than if you could really get some boomers worked up over your pipe gun.
There is a remix of it as well, called the High Point, which that's a fun one.
That's funny.
I love the High Point. I have a High Point.
The higher point.
The higher point, yeah.
I think that would also a big cross on the back of it too. There's been a bunch of random goofy High Point edits of this one.
There's a bunch of stuff I got. Oh, go ahead.
High Point. Well, go. No, you.
Is that
go
in
ahead
the works? Is that in the works right now? Because I got him drunk and got him to commit to that. I didn't get him drunk. He was already drunk. I just got him to commit to it.
Yeah, he is. No, it is not. Well, not officially, no. But I did talk to him about it, and I think he is he's interested in doing it, but it's got to get kind of his life
There's life
in
and
a place.
everything. Yeah.
I will tell you this: do you just as High Point related? Do you remember the DMT9?
Yes.
So the Rusty Mosen, who's like a freaking Chad,
I know him.
was cool. He was cool enough to pass that project to me. I haven't officially relaunched it, but I've been looking at it the last, I don't know, several days or something, and trying to they experimented with a few different paths of alterations on that slide. So trying to figure out what the best one to move forward with is, and then I plan on trying to relaunch that. It's gonna
Very
be fun.
good. Very good. All right. So.
But I mean, yeah, I was just gonna say, out of all of them, this is probably like one of those ones where I think probably most people are just amazed that this one came out in 2025. I think this is probably known.
It's been out there for Yeezy's had it out there for years, right? But really did a great job on the documentation. If you haven't downloaded the Glong and read through the docs, do that. You'll appreciate it, because there's a really good background kind of dissertation on gun control. And in its inception, there's a lot that went into what we kind of just grew up with in the gun control era. And it's a great read. I recommend it to everyone. If you haven't, if you're not familiar with how the NFA came about and how gun control came about, and the different prejudices that are associated with that, it's very enlightening. So should go to catalog, download the Glong. Just if you're just going to read the docs, it's worth it.
Yeah, no, and really, again, there's not much else you could say beside this. Besides, it's a Glock that is also a bong. But I also see we have MOB Breezy joining a little bit behind, but the LCP, or shot the LCP for the first time, hated the trigger. You and a lot of other people, my friend. You and a lot of other people.
Yeah.
The LCP T2 is the better one.
Yeah, the trigger's pretty horrendous, but it's I think the pull of it is you can throw it in your front pocket and carry unimpeded without a lot of precaution.
Well, anyways, let's move on to the next one, which I think is personally I think out of all of these, this one's probably, this one and another one I would say are probably the biggest ones of this entire year, of like overall usefulness of where things are when it comes to 3D printed guns. This one is the CM1 Fire Control Group. Basically, this is an updated version of the 3D printed Fire Control Group that Ivan released, probably around 2021-ish. This one is a newer, updated version that uses normal, standard, like compression springs and basic hardware. The previous one, for those who remember it, was basically just like a 3D printed AR-15 Fire Control Group that looked very similar to a 3D printed AR-15 Fire Control Group. But this one, I would say, looks a lot less like almost a one-to-one copy, but it is rather simple enough where it can fit into a normal AR-15 Fire Control Group, but it uses other things that makes it, I think, easier to build in places that don't have access to like AR-15 springs, pretty much.
It's optimized. It is optimized for DIY, and it's optimized for 3D printing, and that is what makes it so interesting. Because it's a completely different take on the AR Fire Control Group, which for years people thought was a limiting factor.
Mm-hmm.
It is another example of just people being creative and doing cool shit.
Yeah, the innovation is top shelf. It's a way of doing something that's basically a standard in the space and in the community in a totally different way. Uses 3D printed parts and completely innocuous hardware that has nothing to do with any kind of gun parts. So really good advancement there.
Because I was in the original beta for the original 3D printed Fire Control Group one, and like I do remember how it was. It was basically the best way I can describe it, yeah, it was a 3D printed fire control group that looked very similar to an AR one, but it had some issues with it overall. And this one, I want to say, is probably more reliable and more durable because it doesn't go out of its way to look like a normal AR-15 fire control group. This one is, it uses normal springs. I think like the hammer is like a bolt with a bunch of nuts in it too that gives it more weight, so it's not just taking extra space. It's a really unique looking fire control group that does fit in AR-15s, that would work with AR-15s, and then can also be used in pretty much a lot of the designs that use AR-15 fire control groups, which, if you've been in this community, is probably a lot. I think there's a lot of AR-15 fire control group. Basically, a lot of designs on this list could probably be controlled that are considered bolt with AR-15 fire control group attached to it.
It is an example of looking at the design limitations of 3D printing, the challenges of that material, and then adapting a design to be as strong as possible and still work within those parameters, which is, I mean, like I said, it's fascinating and it's awesome and it's great to see.
No,
Indeed. Indeed.
I mean, if no one else has anything to say, I guess we could also keep going. You know, I'm trying to remember how long. I think we went last time like 4 hours too. So we're at hour 1 right now. So we're almost halfway. But that was the first one of May. So that should let you guys know where we're finally on May.
Let's go.
I'll go to the next one, which this one I think is probably one of the more interesting ones of. It's the Dissident. This one is the printed AR-15 or bufferless AR-15 using the CMMG Descent bolt. One of the nice things about CMMG is that when they come out with things like their Descent or even their I think it's like, I forgot the exact name. What is it? I think it's the Banshee. They're radially delayed 9mm and 45 PCCs. They actually just release the barrel and the bolt for all of it, and you can just technically build it if you wanted to. And this is kind of building from that of, you can just buy the bolt carrier and the AR barrel from them, and then you can just build around it. Sound about right?
Yeah. This particular project, you know, it has a lot of options as well, and it's really well done. Basically uses a CMMG hardware kit, and interesting. The trunnion on this I thought was pretty unique. They used what is it, polycrystalline or PC filament is what's called out for printing the trunnion. And there's places that'll print you one and mail it to you, whatever. But a lot of the newer printers are capable of printing it. They have, pretty much mitigates most, if not all, of the melting issue that you get with a lot of the DIY AR-15 platforms. I mean, the Biden's Bane and even the Orca, even when printed in nylon, the heat soak, it gets them eventually. Like, you have to kind of meter how much you're firing. This particular project is probably, I would say, it's the most, durable of any of them that are out there. So, you can probably run more rounds longer through this and not have an issue than you can with the other printed ARs. You can certainly be successful with the Biden's Bane and an Orca, but at a certain point, you gotta set it aside and let it cool down. You can get a lot more distance out of the Dissident than you can out of those two builds.
I'm trying to remember who was the one that.
They aren't
oh, go ahead, Pew.
Aren't the CMMG parts for that $600 or $700? Like, weren't they?
Yeah, they
were a bit pricey. Yeah. This
is a Gucci build. This is definitely not like your cheap build. This is a Gucci build. But
that was one of the big things that helped. Oh, go ahead.
Well, it uses like carbon fiber or send cut send plates. I mean, there's but it makes a Mac Daddy gun. I mean, you're going to spend a minimum of $600, and probably by the time it's all done, you're probably going to spend more like $800. But it's really close to an OEM quality gun by the time you get it all put together. So Yes, you could buy a PSA AR for cheaper, but this has got a, it uses that CMMG hardware kit, which if you're not familiar, it allows you to have a folding stock. It's like an AR 180 or something, where it has a, it doesn't need a buffer tube. So
I mean, I'll add this one too as well, because yes, out of all the printed builds, this is probably the most expensive. But when you actually also look how much a Descents usually costs, like as the true manufactured ones, it's like $2,000. So like,
so it's more reliable than most printed stuff, but it's still more expensive than most printed stuff. But on the same note, it's half the retail price. So
I would even go arguably like
floors?
maybe like it's a little bit less than a half, but yeah, it's close. But it's one of those cool ones, because I do remember the carbon fiber side plates. I think I'm trying to remember who exactly did, because I know the side plates are some of like DB's things, but I don't think he was the developer behind this one.
Yeah, I probably could have told you an hour or two ago, but I'd have to look it up now.
DB did the original DB9 alloy, but yeah, like that was the first side plates thing.
Yeah,
I know that because I have those old notes and it's on here.
I'm glad to know you're opening up the old workstation again one more time, just for the rest of
it. It is a post-it note stuck to the side of my wife's office wall, and I'm just wondering how long she's been staring at it.
You should put more in there.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you should add to it.
Yeah, but I mean, aside from that, the Descent I think is a cool one. It's one of the nice things about CMMG, and if anything, be nice for a Banshee one as well. But I feel like with Banshees, you can just actually use a normal AR like parts kits for that one too. I think the Descent is a little bit weird because is it like a true piston, or is it like a weird like law folder cope bolt that they did?
It's similar to a law. It's got, it's similar. From what I remember anyways, it's got like 2 rods and a couple of springs. So that was this is I think one of the offshoots of when all that CMMG CAD got leaked. There's several projects that spawned out of that, and I think it's one of them.
Yeah,
that's funny.
I forgot that happened too, but let's see what the next. Oh, the next one's a super easy one. We can go over that one quickly because we've already kind of talked about this one, anyways. Of the Mac super safety system, which I believe this one was actually during Dr. Death's time. I think.
Yes.
This one's been sitting for a bit, but I'll let you, Dr. Death, describe the Mac super safety system while I go piss and grab another beer.
Oh, that's good. I'll take the next turn on that one. No, basically, the Mac Super Safety was what it said. It was a Mac Super Safety. It forcibly, resets the trigger, or, as people commonly know it, but in a totally different and legally distinct way. It pushes your finger forward. It allows for a full reset of the trigger before you fire again. And it's for a Mac. So it's super cool. Like, you've got this 1980s awesomeness. You get the whole burr as long as you get your technique down. It's just the fact that, well, I should say the Mac is, the Mac Daddy. So you get like the little SMG platform. I still think it's got 80s cool, but that's just
everyone
me.
loves the Mac.
Everybody
Mac
does.
Daddy's dope, dude. What are you talking about?
Mac Daddy's the gun.
In the realm of gun stuff, the 80s was just a fucking vibe.
It was.
Yeah,
it was. There was
everything
so much
was
cocaine.
wild. Yeah,
so much.
And I don't think we're going to see that again until like 2085, when like we get actual space guns.
The Mac Daddy is what got me into 3D printing, period. When it was still in beta.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that it is. Oh, it was just an awesome gun. It was an awesome gun. It's still an awesome gun. I made one. The first one I ever made, I didn't understand infill, so I printed it at 15% because I had a really crappy printer. And it broke, and I was like, okay, I need to learn my shit before I do this again.
It's so funny.
It was funny. I apologize to everyone.
Well, the Mac Daddy is one of the better. I will say, like, the Mac Daddy.
It's a fantastic gun.
It was one of like the first few printed guns that I made where I was like, "Well, this is actually better than I thought it would be." Of like, I just made the FGC 9, which was its own whole thing, but like the Mac Daddy was like, "Wait a second, actually, I kind of like this." And then they shot like an actual Mac, like, well, one of those like ones that are semi-auto, maybe a full auto one would have changed my opinion. I was like, "Oh, this is not that fun anymore."
How dare you?
Hey man,
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
if it was full auto,
we're gonna
it was meant to be full auto.
crucify you for that.
It was meant to be full auto, and I don't.
No, those are worse.
Oh, are those actually worse?
They're well, the 9 mils might be okay, but
chunk.
the 45s are just fucking everywhere.
Yeah, you're not going to control that bolt. I mean, that bolt weighs like what, a pound at least?
Right, it's moving at like Mach 4 or something.
Yeah, like 1,100 rounds per minute. It's just
Sounds to me like you guys just need more Wheaties, man. I don't know what's going on over here.
With the suppressor, they were somewhat like controllable because the suppressor weighed so damn much.
Got some manlets on stream.
Yeah, you're outing yourselves pretty hard right there. Yeah,
but fine. I'm okay with that. I'll be a manlet with my Sig 550. Thanks.
I post myself on I post myself shirtless on Twitter all the time. I don't know.
On Grindr?
Yeah.
On Grindr, he's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, on Grindr. But hey, I like to know that I'm pretty sometimes, okay?
and to round that one off, speaking of bufferless things as well, which similar to a Mac, but not exactly, we can bring up the last of our May, which was the Trident 9. Which I will say the bolt to that was basically an FGC 9 V2, like, I guess, remix in a goofy way, but it kind of, like, the bolt, I want to say, took some inspiration of the Mac in a way of, like, it's a self-contained system that's bufferless, that instead of it being, like, a nice little square of, like, bolt, it's similar, it's an FGC 9 style bolt, which... Interestingly enough, it was made by Riptide Rails and DB, if I remember correctly. But
yeah, right.
This one is essentially exactly what I just described. It's like sort of a weird hybrid between a Mac and an FGC 9 with a bolt you can only get from Riptides.
Yeah, it's a Gucci FGC 9. It's an FGC 9 if you don't really want to make anything and you want to, and you want it to be a Cadillac. And so it's going to cost you, I think those bolts are $150 or something. So, and then, I don't know. I can't remember what they're using for a barrel, but I mean, you could ECM a barrel, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of these.
I think it's barrel blanks for this one. I mean, of course, yeah, you could ECM the barrel. This one does have like the buffer, has an extractor ejector combo built into it, which is obviously the very nice thing to put into an FGC 9. Bufferless as well, so technically, if you wanted to, you can make it a folding race, or you can be a good boy and fill out your paperwork to put a real stock on it, throw a suppressor on it too. It also, I want to say, I think this one has a cool way of also field stripping where you don't have to fully take apart the gun to actually like separate the bolt or the upper and the lower. Like if the original FGC 9, you had to like deal with like 50 millimeter like 3M screws or M3 screws.
True.
This one has its own little unique D10 system. Do you remember a little bit more about that one, Uber Clay?
Yeah, it's almost like an AR where the front is still got a pin or a screw through it, and then the back has got a latch, and there is an alternate hole system. So if you wanted to put a fastener through there and like permanently affix it, you can. But there is they came up with this really slick little spring-loaded latch in the back that basically it closes like a clamshell and then locks shut. And then if you want to open it for maintenance, you press down on the tab and it you can lift the back of it up and it opens up similar to the way you would with an AR when you pull out the back pin.
No, yeah, Pew, you've been here for the longest, I would say. You were here since the original FGC 9 days. What are your thoughts on this like hyper, I guess, hyper serious like extra FGC 9?
I mean, somebody took the FGC9 and wanted to get creative, like extra creative try hard mode, and they kind of did. Yeah, I mean, it's not a. I don't know. It's sort of one of those lukewarm things for me. Like, it didn't really push the envelope for me, but it didn't really detract anything from the original. So, it's kind of just fine.
I think that's a good way. I mean, it's an interesting way of putting it too, because like I guess you were here from like the original one, so for you like that obviously was a bigger deal. But like for this one, it's like
calling me old.
Oh, I'm sorry, Yeah, is that hurting your feelings a little bit? But
I might cry. You cry on stream.
Yeah, you are the one with the most.
You know what? Get out.
oh, I'm so sorry. I'm starting to hurt everyone's feelings here. Oopsies. It was silly me. I'm being accosted right now. My own stream of all places. But no, yeah.
Fine.
This is one of those.
My stream now.
Yeah.
This is one of those ones where like it is. It's not going to fix the problem. Like, the FGC9 came out with the whole thing of trying to fix building a gun anywhere with the simplest tools. This isn't going to fix that problem. It's not going to do. This does not attempt to fix that problem at all. It goes kind of the other way around. But it's more for, I guess, the people that, let's say, that they watched the original Plastic Defense video. Like, oh, that's super cool. But, like, where is it now? I want something similar to that, but, like, better. I guess that this is for you.
Yeah. It's like the American
right.
version. It's the Yankee version of the FGC9,
Like,
why would I build the parts if I could just buy them?
Right.
If I were just to buy like an FGC9 V2, this would probably be the one that I would want because it has like the amenities that you'd probably want in like a purchase firearm.
Yep.
But you at least got to print out the upper and lower, which is a little bit of an extra step. So yeah, that's where I would say this one's niches. It's not, again, going to like change much of the original mission of the FGC9, but it is pretty neat for those who do want to try it.
If you're someone that built an FGC9 and you want to take that next step or you want to just see what else is out there, this is a very good build for you.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's the way that I feel about it.
Chevy says in the chat, FGC9 with people with HK money. I mean, like, when you say HK money, this would have been in the thousands. This isn't even, I want to say even still, this isn't where we aren't getting close to that range. But it is more money, technically, than if you wanted to go source all the parts and do it all on your own. But yeah, it's a good one. Oh, this is a fun one. I want to say this was also there for you for the next one, Dr. Death, but I'll let you introduce this one, Overclay. Or actually, do you read? Are you reading the list to yourself, Dr. Death? Do you want to introduce this one?
I'm reading it, but you let him introduce it.
Okay.
It's the DIY barrel feed cone tutorial. Was one. So, Immortal Revolt, he had, I guess there's a handful of builds, and even the FGC9 Eurotal. I don't know if the Eurotal was probably necessary for this or not, but the idea here is that some people have
feeding issues.
Yeah, just
feeding issues, and it copies the Sten, essentially the feeding cone of the Sten, where just like all semi-auto or full auto firearms, any self-feeding firearm, you need a feed ramp, and this is how to make a DIY feed cone, which is going to greatly increase reliability.
Right. And, it's an example. It's a kind of a standalone package, but it's an example of the jigs that Immortal Revolt is kind of famous for. You print all the stuff out and it secures your material, in a very, so you can perform this operation in a very predictable, repeatable fashion. So, if you've got an ECM barrel and you're having feeding issues, this is a way for you to basically chamfer the inside of it so that it guides the round into the chamber better.
Which, as someone who loves like Saturday night specials and really cheap guns, I can tell you right now that is incredibly important. You do not want any rough edges there when the round goes in.
Well, I remember
Amazing
Are you
how
saying-
you get rough edges on your barrel when you drop the barrel in a puddle of water for a while, a couple weeks.
That does
months,
happen. That does
in like an
happen.
alley. Yeah.
I once bought a Lorsen for $40, and all the finish was worn off. It was originally chrome, and it was down to just like the bare Zamac. And when they pulled it out of the evidence bag that it came in for the FFL, they racked it, and dust flew out of it. And I was like, I can get this running today, and it is one of the most reliable pistols I own. And I don't know if it's because it was used so much, or if I'm just that good at tuning them. But I sent them a video of me mag dumping it right after.
Is a Lorsen Whisperer.
It was an L25. They love.
I'd hoped for a moment you would say they racked the slide open and a bullet came out. That would have been peak Lorsen energy right there.
No, it's a spent casing. It's like
it's a spent casing. I'm with you on this one, Uberclin. That's more of a Lorsen experience. If there's a spent casing still trapped in the barrel.
Yeah,
it'd be jammed at a 45. That's the Lorsen. That's the Lorsen handle right there. You know, you just grab that spent casing that's jammed there, stovepiped, and you yank back on the slide. You know, it's a charging handle.
I'll say about
Doc,
go ahead. Actually,
I just want to know if Doc got a Sneaky Pete's holster for it after he got it. That's all I want to know.
It'd probably fit in the It would fit in the Caltech P3.
I'm sure you could put two of them in there, probably.
I don't know. They're chubby little guns. They're probably bigger than the LCP.
Yeah, they are. No, you're right about that. They are bigger. I'm just goofing around. That we all know that thing was a mini fanny pack that you were wearing on your belt there with your LCP.
You know what? It worked. I just bought a Marlboro fanny pack, and I want to use it for concealed carry.
Would look better than what you already have, but I'll say this as the barrel feed cone thing about speaking about smooth edges and stuff. I will say that was one of the biggest things even I noticed for the ECM barrel stuff was when Ivan brought up for the V2 of using a hone brush. So yeah, keeping that thing smooth is very nice. But I'll let you finish and we can move on to the new one after this.
No, I was just going to give Doc more shit. I was just going to tell him something to the effect of that, with the
jealous.
Yeah, well, I am. I need to get a Sneaky Pete's holster.
You do.
That's the next thing I'm doing.
I'm telling you, do. I carried one of those.
We all need a Boomer Max hard enough.
4 years.
I'm going to see how big a one I can get. I'm going to, have it like a 1911 or, full size Glock 20 in there.
They did make one at one time for like the Glock 19, and it was absurd.
They do. I see it right when I search it. When I search it up, and they're still making it.
Looks like a laptop.
I'm looking at it. It's massive, and I want one with where I can see you could also put magazines in it too. So this is
before that.
Yeah. They have them where I looked at the website. They have them where they carry extra mags in them. You're like, what the fuck, man?
Well, they had before.
That's not conspicuous at all.
They had what was called the Bulldog holster for the P318, and it carried it upside down. So you had to reach your index finger in and flip your pistol up before pulling it. And I remember practicing with it after buying one and being like, "This is going to get me killed."
Is that the one that has the flap where you pull it out of your pants where it sits on your thigh?
This was also a side side holster, looks like a cell phone or like a insulin pump. That's what I thought.
Oh God, or a colostomy bag.
Yeah,
you're old enough.
Guys, you're going about this the wrong angle.
Yeah.
You don't need to disguise your gun in a holster that looks like one of those cell phone holsters. You need a gun that's literally small enough to fit in a pack of cigarettes.
See, that is why I carry my Springfield Hellcat RDP now.
I mean, that's why I carry my Colibri still. My Colibri is the perfect choice.
If I could afford one of those things, I would buy one in a second.
I have a friend of mine. I have a friend of mine that has one of those. The bullets are damn near impossible, but at least I got to hold it and play with. I got to shoot one shot out of it, and those things they're adorable. I wish gun manufacturers still had fun. Honestly. But let's move on to.
I'd be really tempted to.
Oh, go ahead.
I'd be
Pew.
really tempted to shoot myself in the leg with it just to see, like, just to confirm how much damage it would do.
I mean, it'd be less than like
That's
an
why I
ice
can't
pick.
have one. Right.
I mean,
So
you could build immunity up to 22 eventually, and then take your first 9mm or 380 and
Oh
9mm.
my god!
One of my
Medical
buddies in
fire.
high school shanked another one of our friends just to see what would happen.
That is
What friends are for.
that sounds some fun Italian shit, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
It was
man,
good.
that sounds real Italian.
Yeah, he just turned to him one day. He was carving. He got a piece of wood and he sharpened it, into a shiv. And he's like, "What are you doing?" He just turns and stabbed him in the arm.
So wait, the guy's sitting there with a knife and a piece
The
of
guy
wood.
sitting there with a knife and a piece of wood took the piece of wood and stabbed my other buddy in the arm. I don't know.
That's the shit I did
Yeah,
when
I
I
guess.
was in second grade because I didn't know any better.
That's so funny.
Anyways, let's go on to the next one.
Everybody laughed.
Let's go on to the next one. Who wants to have the honors of announcing the next one that's an AR-15 lower?
Hugh, why don't you do the U bar?
What AG just said. It's an AR-15 lower.
Nice.
Well, Pew, that was a hell of an intro.
Ta-da.
Hell of an intro of. Would you like to go further on Ivan's U-bar?
No, I'm good. No, it's it's an AR-15 lower. It's probably the most robust AR-15 lower that come out of the Gatalog community. I don't know that anyone put it head to head against Norca in the last 6 months, but
And that's not really
I'm sure
apples to
someone
apples.
will.
So
yeah,
what you do is put
We
it up
haven't even
against
gotten to the bi-poly people. Okay.
Well, that's
No, the bipoly's a.
Hey, we're going there. We're getting there.
Good,
We're getting there.
I know.
yeah,
I know.
but I mean,
Let's get
I'm
to
a big
this.
fan of the
Let's-
U bar.
The U-bar is a great gun. It is a fantastic lower. They've always been fantastic lowers, and they've only gotten better.
Yes.
As more and more reinforcements been added. I mean, they're a tank. And oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I mean, the big thing I see is the fixed rifle stock is nice for those people that want to have that. The integral pistol grip option is one of those ones that a lot of the new printed lowers been doing just because of.
I like it.
That's the common fail place that I saw a lot of AR lowers was the AR-15 grip could just rip.
Yeah.
So having an integral one is arguably nicer because now it depends on what you consider nicer too. It always depends. Hoffman with his weird taste in grips as well. It makes it so it's stronger, and that removes one of the biggest fail points that most people have. But go ahead, Uber Clay. I want you to add your little extra bit.
I've never had an AR lower fail that way, but I'm sure, I'm sure you could. AR-15 lowers are relatively resilient, but I have probably half a dozen U bars and half a dozen bipolys, and they're both really, really, really good builds. The U bar is, to me, it's a fast, really stout, assembly. I love the 1/4-inch eye bolts for the front. It totally solves the problem of snapping off the front pin if over leveraged, and then obviously where it gets its name is from the U-bolt over the buffer tube, and is when done properly, it's really, really effective. And I have U-bars that are a couple of years old now. I have a U-bar 3 that I made when this was in beta, and it's great. But even the U-bar and U-bar 2 are still really good builds. Very strong platform.
They're a fantastic platform. I actually just had one of my old Hellfire lowers snap in half. If anyone remembers those things.
Oh, goodness, man.
Classic.
Dear God,
reaching
Unc.
way back.
That's
Yeah,
a fucking
snap.
unlocked a core memory on that one. The fucking Hellfire.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Dev,
I
is
have
that...
never had a U-bar lower break, even back to the original ones.
Yeah,
those things
me either.
stick around. The Hellfire was fun. It was a fun build. There was personality with it. Lots of personality, too much personality, perhaps. But
Hey, Mr. Anderson Hellfire guy was a cool guy. But what I was gonna say was, I remember when I was in. remember that was like the thing that I did before too. It was like maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, where I had Ivan. Basically, all the people that like were doing this was around UBAR 2 when all the AR lowers were starting to drop finally. Hoffman finally sort of settled with his like Hoffman lower. Spooky finally released. That was when he just released the Firebolt. And yeah, the Hellfire, I want to say, was like a good inspiration for most people also of original AR-15 lower was the one, basically, that was the original defense distributed one, which just decided to take the AR-15 one. It took the AR-15 aluminum one directly 1-to-1, which, shocker, it would break after like 2 or 3 shots.
The point that I'm making
That was so retarded.
Well, I mean,
the point that I'm making is that was a dead end.
It was a dead end.
That the U-bar went was the future. Well, and I just think it's interesting to compare that divergent point.
Well, it was the Hellfire, I want to say, that did the big thing where it realized the weakest point was the buffer tube. And
correct.
That was then later, I think, I forgot, before the U-bar, it was, I forgot what the exact lower was. It might have literally just been U-bolt or something, but I know that was what Ivan was talking about when he figured out about the U-bolt just working.
Yeah, it was the U-bolt. I think. Oh my god!
I think it wasn't called the U-bar just yet. And basically,
didn't that come from the Vanguard? Maybe
it might have.
Vanguard. That's what it was.
It was the Vanguard. It was the Vanguard. Ivan had a U-bolt option, in which then became the U-bar, and then Spooky took the idea of using the U-bolt around the Vanguard time. He decided to use the U-bolt, and that's how he made his lower. And then Hoffman decided to go the other way of, well, I don't need what if I don't use a U-bolt? What if I use a fucking hose clamp?
Webs.
A hose clamp one, which does exactly the same thing of basically compressing those layer lines.
That area.
Fun fact, Vanguard was my very first 3D 2A print. It was the old school Vanguard, and it was even before we started using the U-bolt. I still have a couple of those things around here somewhere.
But yeah,
they were a good guy. They were a good, reliable printed receiver. I mean,
even those Vanguards I could still build it and it would run. I don't think I mean, it was. I don't know if I had a Vanguard fail on me. I think what happened is I printed a couple, ran them, and then we started messing with the U-bolt. So, they got stripped down. But I have those frames.
Do you guys remember War Fairy?
Yes. That's an old man. Whoa, okay, Pew, drop the lore.
So pre-catalog, deterrence defense, pre-defense distributed, there was FOSCAD IRC.
Yeah.
And
God.
Like a couple years before that, sort of like before everyone moved into Keybase and everyone else, we were on IRC. But a couple years before we moved, there was a guy called War Fairy who had done a bunch of like beefed up AR-15s in various like configurations. He had like a bullpup one.
The bullpup one sticks with my head. It's the goofiest shit you could search up when you search up 3D printed bullpup AR. I think War Fairy shows up, and it's this goofy fucking looking thing.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to get some of those and torture test them against like U-bars and bipolys, just to see, how far off they were. If we like took several steps back in the interim years, to get back to a point where everything was more or less the same. I don't remember seeing many of his designs actually get made, but the community was also really small back then.
I was going to say, so. Was that even pre-Ender 3 or when the Ender was just?
It was probably CR10s.
Yeah, it was like at the birth of the Ender 3.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. You were dealing with dog crap printers. Are we? Yeah, we're allowed to swear in here. Never mind.
No,
dog shit printers.
I'll say this. You bring up Warfare, like it's like that is when the moment you bring up IRC. Like, you are now, like, just sectioning off, like, most Zoomers when it comes to what is IRC. What is IRC?
I'm gonna sit on my front porch
page. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna sit on my front porch and drink my AC and yell at the kids on my lawn. That's the IRC days.
Yes.
I'm the only person I've ever heard. Oh, go ahead.
I just like that it's very prominently mentioned on the Gatalog Wikipedia page.
Well, it's because all I remember whenever I hear IRC, I just think about the times I talked to Jeff Rod. I mean, he's like, "Oh yeah, I used to be in the Foscat," which is like one of those things where it's like, "Yeah, of course you're in the IRC, Jess." Like when you're at a certain point, like that old ago or that long ago, you have the IRC was the original, like that was the original way GunCAD was before everything else. And then, yeah, that was when everything became its own group and sectioned off afterwards. But it's always interesting to look back to those days just because Foscat was a fun time.
I think it's fascinating how much advancement and how much history has been made in only 10 years. Or so. Like, it is novels worth of, innovation.
It's incredible to look back and see, the strides that as a community we've made. It's incredible, really. The testament to, innovation and ingenuity.
Rapid product development. It's
couldn't be prouder. Couldn't be prouder to be a part of this community.
I mean, again,
Springfield Armory got paid tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, and they turned in 20 years the M1 Garand into the M14. And in 10 years, GunCAD has gone from things like the Songbird to the FGC9 and the U-Bar and just the Rogue 9. I mean,
look at the Decker. It's ugly as sin, but it's fucking works like crazy. What I mean? And it's innovative as shit.
The innovations, yes.
Yeah, it's innovative as shit. And it's just incredible. And this is what happens when you get like crowdsourcing. You get more and more people. We watch the community, the tester population, the dev population has grown by leaps and bounds, and you get more and more minds kind of plugged into this thing, and
you
it's
also
amazing
get
to see
building intelligence. You get people scaffolding, innovation.
True. Yeah, that's it. Like we're literally standing on the shoulders of giants because the guys that came before us, the FMDA and the different developers.
He's a really nice guy too. I was working with him for a while.
We take their breakthroughs and their discoveries and then, build on top of them and, make new breakthroughs and new discoveries. And you get like 3 or 4 generations down the road and, you see where we're at today. So it's been an amazing thing to be a part of and watch.
Well, I mean, yeah. I guess talking about older designs, though, we can look at the next one, which Uberclay, I think you should be the one to talk about. Of old designs that I'm pretty sure were,
No, I demand to talk about this one.
Well, you could go ahead.
He's wanting to introduce all of them. No, I'm taking this one here.
Go ahead.
The Kung Pao 33. It's a printable TT33 frame. And I don't know if any of you know about the Tokarev, but it is an incredibly prolific clone of the Colt 1903. Chambered in a hot as hell round called the 7.62 by 25 Tokarev, although you could also get 9mm versions. And funny fact is it penetrates level 3 body armor, the soft stuff, but that's only if you use the original Full Metal Jacket ammo. But it's one of the most widespread firearms, widespread handguns ever made. It's been used in every conflict from World War II up to the present. And it was designed by this guy called Uberclay. So if we could talk to him, that'd be awesome.
I don't think we'll find him.
Yeah. Shout out to Riptide for helping me out with the rail. There's a few guys out there that have, come in clutch, and there's been a couple of my projects that were, I was really struggling to try to, get some help in making some prototypes. He helped me with the TT33, and that rail came about because basically, I mean, I designed it, but he was kind enough to make it so we could start testing. And that gun, there's millions of them out there. That frame won't support them all, but it probably supports the vast majority of them. And I think there's a Norinco 213, the M54 and M57 versions in there. I tested it with 9mm and 7.62 by 25, and it's I mean, it's funny because when I was doing all this, the parts kits were expensive, and then, here we are in today's economy. I see these, these surplus guns going sometimes for a lot less than what I paid for a kit. So, just go figure. I don't know what to tell you. At one time, these kits were a dime a dozen, and then they got expensive, and then the guns, the kits stayed expensive, and the guns got cheap. So it's a moving target.
Well,
but
they
I wanted
still
to go
make
ahead.
the guns.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
The Yugoslavians still make them. In fact, they set up. Now, I don't know if they're manufacturing them in Wisconsin, but they purchased a factory with the idea of making new Tokarevs in Wisconsin.
It's funny. I've got probably 6 or 7 kits, and the M57 Yugo kit that I have is far and away the best quality out of any of them. And it's interesting.
Around.
True. It's interesting to see the quality control between like some of the Chinese ones versus some of the Yugoslavian ones. And I mean, I don't have to tell you this, but
Wingman, you're wrong. It penetrates 3A. If you use the Bulgarian SMG ammo. Sorry, I'm looking at comments. I'll shut up.
Yeah, sure. No, I'm just, the one thing that you struggle with in this build is that the quality control on some of the Chinese kits are spotty. So, there might be a little bit of finagling that you got to do, but, by and large, it's fine. And for a gun that there's probably 1 million or maybe even several million of them out there, it's a good one to have. There's a rail step in there, so if you're somewhere where you can't get Riptide to ship to you, you can take that step and you can kind of do your own thing. So,
does anyone else remember when? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Who's that for?
I was just going to say, does anyone else remember when 7.62 by 25 Tokarev was 10 cents a round? And they were shipping it in the huge lead tins.
Yeah, right. Those were the days.
No.
I still have one of those. I still have one. They were selling chamber conversions for Mosin Nagants. I remember that too. So you could shoot it out of it.
I don't.
Yeah, I remember when you could buy. What are those like? What are they? 1150 round wood.
Yeah, 1150. I didn't get one of those. I got one of the 800 round Bulgarian tins, which I'm still happy that I have, and it's still sealed, and I have it somewhere in my basement. But I remember they used to sell on different like cheaper than dirt style catalogs a homemade hollow point kit, which was a jig and a drill bit to drill live 7.62 by 25 to make it a hollow point. And
Classic cheaper than dirt.
Yeah, it's like no, it was Sportsman's Guide. I'm sorry, it was Sportsman's Guide.
Fuck that.
That is so dangerous. Like all it takes is one suck of that drill bit.
Yeah,
I can't wait for the bullet to override the crimping, and so it sets the projectile just a little bit further back, and then you get a little more pressure, and then you chamber the sucker in. God,
nothing bad ever happened with the CZ52s.
No, definitely not. They definitely never blew up in your hands.
Straight out the
God, that's funny.
I wish I could get one of these when they were affordable. I feel like they've now like gone up in price with a lot of this bullshit.
Those aren't expensive. I can send you a link for one for $2.99.
Yeah, I was going to say right now you can get basically a 213 for like $300, and you could actually get them. Actually, I think you could probably get a 57 or a 54. I've seen them recently, even a 7.62 by 25 for like $300. I mean, they like it's a single stack. They have a really good vibe when you. I mean, if you get one that isn't all scuffed, the trigger's not atrocious. Like that's why I say that the Yugo kit kind of started to make me turn the corner because I was, at first I was
those triggers.
Yeah, I know. And that's what I say in the docs is sometimes you've got to you got to polish the surfaces that interact with each other, and if you get a kit that's not been QC'd very well, it functions, but it's going to be atrocious. That helps. But if you get a good quality gun, it's not bad. And listen, 7.62 by 25 is pretty peppy. I mean. There's you get a nice little muzzle flash out of that bad boy that you don't get with 9mm.
Well, I want to say too, before we go to the next one, wasn't there a funny, goofy version of this one frame, but with I wouldn't say Ivan's little weird little test frame thing, but it's definitely the AR-15 test frame thing. I think
it's called the Nautilus.
Oh, yeah, that's
yes, there's the Nautilus, and it's totally the way that they did. The Kung Pao 33 uses a central rail that helps carry some of the stresses. So it's not just totally on printed, on a printed rails. The Nautilus is though 100% printed, and the way that they made that work is they really thickened it up, especially in the back end. So it. I'm not so sure it uses. I have to think about that. Does it? I don't know if I think it uses AR-15. It might, but it's been a year or longer since I looked at that. But I did look it over one time and go through it, and they thickened the back end up a bunch so that it would kind of survive, multiple rounds. I wanted to do more of a traditional frame, and I had already, I had been working on one with somebody, for a while. So I thought that, after it was viable, I would, bring it to beta, and we go ahead and get it out for the general public. And it worked out well.
I think the 7.62 by 25 should make a comeback. I would buy a modern.
Me too.
Pistol. I would buy a modern pistol chambered in that. I think it is a zippy, wicked little round.
Well, sadly,
who should make that?
Who?
Wait, what?
Keltec. Keltec should make that.
No, Keltec should make.
In their stripper clip bullshit.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking about. It's that gun that they made in 5.7 with the stripper clip. I want that in 7.62 by 25.
Yeah, I would buy that. I would buy that in a minute. I think it's a great round. Hard.
I love it.
I like the fact that someone stole the stripper clip at Shot Show. I think that's funny.
I was there. I forgot who I was with, but they accused. She knows what died next to that moment, and they accused us of stealing it because we just walked by, and they were like, "Actually, never mind. We saw the camera. It's not you guys." But it was one of those things where they pulled us aside for a second. It's like, wait a second, someone stole it, because we were I think the second to last or third to last person that went to the booth before it got stolen. Yeah. So they were they ran at us hey, wait a second, we think it might be hey, just double check, did you guys take our stripper clips? No. Oh, that was fun.
I don't know if you guys want to mess with Keltec.
Oh, I would. Oh, of course not. No, of course not. We let them. I emptied my pockets to let them see that I was clean. I was not going to mess around with Keltec. There's a few battles in life I know to choose, and that was not one of them.
There's this old promotional picture for the Tech 9 where George Kelgren is holding a Tech 9 directly against one of his secretary's heads. They're all posed and everything, but she's kneeling directly in front of the muzzle and his fingers on the trigger.
What a patriot.
Jesus.
It's probably loaded too.
It probably was. It was George Kelgren about to sacrifice another woman to the Nordic gods for more insane ideas.
What a patriot.
Worth it.
Actually, Dr. Death, I know you like the next one, so I'll let you introduce the next one. Now we've moved on to the month of July. I want to say you might as well just bring up the next two. The next two, because they're basically the exact same one, but let's go over those two just as one.
I did help test these. I think they're very fun guns. They're the bipoly. They're an evolution on the earlier monopoly, And what they essentially are is an unbelievably beefed up printable frame. They are simplified compared to the monopoly. They are stronger. They certainly have a lot more mass, and they can handle 308 and AR9. So you can either print an AR15, an AR9, or an AR10. And this frame will tank it. And not only that, but it has an NFA version. So if you are pseudoquitly licensed and you can possess an auto sear, you can drop one of those right into the NFA bipoly and rock and roll to your heart's content, as long as you're legal, of course. The other really interesting thing about them is that they come with a Colt 607 stock, where that was the earliest collapsible form of stock. And so it's a 3-position. It looks like a full stock when compressed, just shorty, but then it will stretch out. I've built one. I'm planning on SBRing one, actually. I have one right now on a 16-inch upper. I'm planning on putting one on a 10-inch upper. And you know what? They are just an absolute tank of a build. And they've got several different iterations of strength, where you can add various forms of metal reinforcement. You can add rings, for example, to the front so that it doesn't crack as easily, because it is based roughly on the Vanguard, the earlier Vanguard frame, the earlier U-bar, where it still has a polymer front. It doesn't use the later eye bolts. But it is so overbuilt and so tough that when I was putting the pins in for my fire control group, I had to double check how far each one was out, because they're just sunk that far into the frame. If you want a basic or advanced printable lower, this thing's gonna be a darn good choice, I would say.
Yeah, I'd agree with everything Doc said. This is the first, I think, lower that I've seen released that does support basically mil-spec, full auto in the NFA version. We've seen what we call a quote-unquote low shelf lowers before that are designed to support, the Choosy Express or the Yankee Boogle, or whatnot. But this is the NFA version of this was the first one that I saw that supported, to get the M16, third hole hardware, which I believe you can buy in, anywhere you want on the internet. They'll just mail it to your house. It is, if you're
It
not
is
licensed.
theoretically possible,
Yeah, I mean, you don't break. It's not against the law to have it. It's against the law to install it. So you can buy all
entirely
of it
legal to possess.
Yeah, entirely legal to buy it and have it. It's not legal to put it in your gun. So
now I would also say printing the NFA monopoly
true,
may be a serious issue unless you are properly licensed.
and that's also true.
However,
being in
possessing
possession
the files is legal.
Yes, correct. Yeah, possessing a printed NFA frame would run afoul of the law. But having the files is of course of no concern. So and I actually my AR-10 that I have now, actually built one in 243. I used the bipoly lower for it, and I couldn't be happier with it. And it looks great, and it's super stout. Printed it. Actually printed that one in nylon, just because it was going to be a kind of a forever gun. But the PLA version, I had a PLA version in 308 for forever, that I ran the piss out of, and I had absolutely no issues with it.
I did mine
Ran it with
as well.
Yeah, ran a PLA lower with a PLA Animal Farm upper in 308. Just make all kinds of
Animal
fireballs
Farm
with it.
upper. Does that thing even
Animal
release?
Farm's an old one.
Yeah, no, I gotta catch up with fucking Co-op. He's disappeared, and I don't know if he died or what, but I haven't seen him or talked to him in forever. And
I have some ideas about what co-op's up to.
I have some
sometime,
ideas too, but I'm not gonna. That's
I was gonna say, you had a pretty cool stream with him one time, didn't you?
Oh, I had several good ones with them, and several other videos that never got published for reasons that will never be brought up. But I have those recordings saved. Which one of these days, who knows? Maybe I'll open up the archives again. But the man was truly an interesting person. Is all I have to say. I wish nothing but the best for the man. But while I quickly...
maybe somewhere outside of Barstow on the edge of the desert. That's all I'm saying.
While I quickly delay and ignore and pretend I didn't hear that, I think we've all talked about the wonderful things about the NFA bipolar. You guys have really done a great job at that. Who wants to introduce the wonderful OK Zoomer?
I could do it. That was one of my releases.
Figured.
The OK Zoomer V2 was like the V2 of the SR45. I did the original SR45, and then and this was a couple of, I want to say it was probably a year or longer prior to that. My CAD skills have gotten better, and I started going back to some of my old releases and tuning them up and re-releasing them with more ergonomics than anything. So Unseen Killer, who I teach CAD with, I'll give you the backstory. He had released a Glock. I mean, what is it? A 20, 45 frame called the Bishop. And I did a whole thing where I was, teaching how to recut frames for internals for different guns. And what that was originally a Glock frame, and what I did is I filled it in and I created a negative cut tool of the SR45 internals, and then I applied it to a different frame. So I basically turned it into a Ruger SR45 frame. So the original seed frame was created by Unseen Killer, but I filled it in solid and then recut it, and then made a couple of adjustments for the SR45. But the original SR45 frame is like, I think somebody described it to me as holding a 2x4 or like holding a burrito. It was
exactly what it felt like.
Yeah, there was not a lot of ergonomics there.
One.
It works. It runs great. It's just it's leaves a little something to be desired in the ergonomics portion of it. So this is an upgrade to that. It still runs great, but it is a little bit more ergonomically palatable. And I created a few textured versions of it, so I wanted to put it out there. I've got just as a side note, I have its sister frame, which is basically the SR9 or the, what is it, the 9E frame is basically wrapping beta up now. So if you like SR guns like I do, and you want an updated SR9 frame, I've got it for you. Come holler at me. But this is one of the few double stack 45s. So what are the double stack 45s that are out there? We've kind of we're trying to ferret out the double stack like 1911. It's not quite there yet, but we're close on it. We have a Glock, right? We have a M&P, and then we have the SR45. I don't know if there's really anything else out there. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting?
I'm sure there's something weird, but not that I know. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, those are the main ones.
Are you talking printed, or are you talking actual existence?
Printed.
Printed,
like
yeah.
Printed
That's it for printed.
So this was the SR45. Taking a Glock mag, it's it's a 14 round, and it with a Stendo, I think 25. It's really solid shooter. So for a double stack 45, this is not a bad way to go. And when parts kits are out there, I mean, you got to kind of watch for them, but they're not bad. I mean, I think I got several of mine for under 150. So obviously there's some pressure on that now, but and you don't see them all the time, but you go through periods where they pop up. So
I think oh, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say when they do, you should jump on them. They got a decent trigger and they're decent shooters.
The OK Zoomer to me shows how much evolution has progressed as far as ergonomics and just looks with 3D printing. Because, like he said, the early one, which I have, I mean, it does look and feel like a 2x4. It's perfectly functional. It's a very functional 3D printed firearm, and I like it. But we've progressed now from for example, the early Glock frames looked like a 2x4, and we have gone from essentially like PS1 graphics to PS5 graphics as far as 3D printing.
Right.
You don't have you don't have Lara Croft running around with triangles anymore.
The low poly. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
High poly with a bomb.
Yes. Yes.
And the
we need more guns.
A lot of the frames nowadays, and the Zoomer is no exception. We've realized that there is a value in producing texture regions that integrate well with Blender for doing really fancy and appropriate stipples. And that's what you see. It's all the rage in the last probably 6 months. And that was something that I think, Unseen Killer probably pioneered largely in Blender. We've given a couple of classes on it in Gun Academy. You can actually apply this texture to STL. So even if you don't know how to do CAD, you can grab the STL and you can throw it in Blender and you can follow this workflow and apply, basically any stipple that you can come up with a JPEG of or whatever. And it's really opened up. I've seen, Gutter Cheese has been doing it. DB's been doing it. It's like, I've really seen it open up into the community, and I love the creativity that it's invigorated. Things don't get interesting when it's only 3 or 4 people doing it. Things in my mind get interesting when you get about 100 or 200 or 1,000 people doing it. So it's amazing what some of these guys are coming up with.
No, yeah.
To summarize that, you should learn to CAD.
Yeah.
Everyone listening should learn to CAD.
I mean, yeah.
No, that is not a bad. That's not a bad idea, but
go ahead. I'll let you shill your fun Friday thing you do one more time before we go to the next one. Then with that good note.
Yeah. All right. I did mention it, so I might as well explain. Most Fridays on Discord, there's actually I think there's 4 of us now. So we've got RG 3D Prints, Not a Gun Tuber, myself, and Unseen Killer. And it started with Unseen, a guy named JP, transitioned to Unseen and me, and then we added Nada, and now I think we're adding RG 3D Prints, who is from like that 3D 2A TV startup that they're doing. And he's doing great. So what we do is we teach among, mainly Blender. I'm sorry, not mainly Blender. I apologize. So we
Fusion?
teach mainly Fusion 360 and then Blender on the side. And you can know absolutely nothing, show up, and we'll just, take it from there. And if you'll have at least 2 classes running, sometimes 3. Nada's specialty is CNC milling. He also does teach CAD, but like this last week, he did a live session where he had a webcam, out in his shop where he does CNC. So he runs his CNC out of Fusion. He does the CAD in Fusion and then plots the cam, the tool pass, and creates a G code out of Fusion. So, and his Tormac or whatever the fuck it's called is like, I think it was about like $4,000. So it's not cheap, but it's not necessarily out of reach for like someone, if you kind of save up and, plan for something, for a purchase like that. I mean, people spend way more than that on a car. So, we obviously support 3D printing and the design of 3D printed guns, but, we also are trying to support, the CNC vector as well. So, Gun Academy Discord on Friday night. Come check us out.
Yeah, it's a good thing too. You're doing that. It definitely, it's very useful to help people learn how to CAD. It's one of those nice things for sure. I mean, one thing I will say about the OK Zoomer that I like also is that it uses, I think, Glock. I forgot whatever the Glock that uses 45 face CP is, but it's nice that it uses Glock mags that are the 45 ACP ones instead of the weird. Is it like single stack mags?
Yeah, so that you know, I argue with Uberpoor about this because you know, he would rather I use the original magazine, but the original SR45 only had 10 rounds, and so you know, I like to tell him, well, you know, I fixed Bill Ruger's design because now we can use a 14 round or a 25 round magazine, you know. But yeah,
Bill Ruger hated those 20 and 25 round magazines.
Yeah, he did.
Ruger
He really did.
Civilians
he really
did 10 rounds.
And it's funny because he made some good guns, or at least some guns that I think are worth fucking with. Maybe some people don't think they're good, but like he was a fucking he was an asshole. You know what I mean? When it came to high capacity magazines, like he wanted
to sell to the military. That's what he wanted. He thought that the M4 or the Mini 14 was going to get sold to the military, and no, it was not.
No.
Hey man, the Texas Rangers are still using Mini 14s.
My dad frickin' carries one in his squad car to this day because my dad, for some reason, is still
that's so funny.
And it's full auto. That's the funniest thing. It's a full auto Mini 14 that police department purchased back in the 70s, and they're still carrying it.
God, that's awesome.
Wait, is it a Mini 14 or is it one of those like AACs?
It's one of the AACs. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a
3-round burst. Yeah. So it's 3 rounds.
So it's a worse Mini 14.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of,
you know, I've never shot it, and I should probably get that to happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
call him up and actually shoot it.
If it was current production,
it's gotta be there's no way that it's just like full on Burt. It's gotta be a AC, whatever, like AC 556 or whatever.
Like you know, that's like a fucking cop that's still carrying like a big old hog leg revolver or something. Like, you know, that's got some swagger, man. Like, you know,
until a few years ago, they still had a hammer, like a rabbit ear double barrel shotgun in their inventory, and they sold it off, and my brother bought it.
Oh wow, nice.
That is very good.
Yeah, man. Let me know. Let me know if your dad ever wants to sell that thing, man. You should tell him to holler.
A lot of people.
We should send that to all of us. Tell us all when your dad.
I wonder if it's got to be probably pre-86, but I don't know how that would work if it was in police inventory. I don't know.
I mean, do I care?
I'm missing.
What?
I lost that thing. I don't know what happened to it.
And before we incriminate ourselves any further, let's go to the newest one, which is the Shockwave Neo, which is the Beretta 22 Neo. Actually, was this one of your last ones, Dr. Death?
Yes, it was. Oh, this was such an adventure. I mean, lots of life stuff happened with this guy. He's a great person. Oh my gosh, what was the username? Do you remember? Uber Clay?
Oh fuck. Yeah, well,
I know.
It went through a couple of devs, so
it did. Okay. Who finally released it then? Because I remember when it was first coming out, and I can picture the profile picture, but I can't think of the thing.
I'll tell you in a second.
This is the fun Beretta 22.
Is it TM18271998?
Yeah, that's it. Yep. Yeah, that guy. Yeah. Transformers guy. Anyway, he worked on this thing forever. And I mean, there were issues with parts kits availability because the Neo's kind of rare. And there was just the fact that it was sort of an expensive parts kit because it's a Beretta and Neos are kind of rare. And there was the fact that there's very little hype about it because, like, the only movie or TV show that it's been shown in is Westworld for like 5 seconds. And that show sucked after the first season. So he just kept chugging along with this and finally got it together. I mean, this thing had years of testing. It is reliable. It is going to work. It looks cool. It's like the most early Apple, like 2000s laptop, you know, that weird neon blue and metallic silver thing that you could ever think of, like that era, you know, the early 2000s looking gun ever. But that makes it really fun. Like, it looks like something straight out of Men in Black.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
This was the first gun I think I ever shot. Like, I remember my range for some reason had this as the rental, and this was the first ever firearm I ever shot. And I remember it was an indoor range, and it bounced. The 22 round bounced and landed between my eye protection and like right at my forehead. So this was a true good first experience where I literally burned my forehead. But
that is impressive.
That being said, though, I always had a special place in my heart for this gun. It is one of the most weirdest looking like 22s I've ever shot, but also like it was just fun.
I like it because it's a new gun, but it has some of that 80s style to it.
Yeah.
Where like it's not overly tactical, you know?
It's kind of sci-fi. I don't know.
A little bit, yeah.
I think it totally looks like a space gun.
I don't know. I always liked them. I always thought they were cool. I've just never seen one for sale and was too lazy to ever special order one. So this is a cool way to get one.
I have always told myself I wanted to buy one. We'll go up you.
This is one of those builds that I saw come out and I bought a parts kit for, and I haven't had a free fucking printer to send it on yet.
I have so many parts kits. I still have a Amigo Grande kit and an Amigo Verde kit waiting to be put together. And I bought those when they were in beta.
Jesus.
The kids take time.
All I gotta say is, I am proud of the I am Ivan's what not to do picture of a barrel. Of one of those barrels where it's pushed too far is this is how you don't build an Amigo Grande. So hey, you know what? I'm in that list of people in that one beta. But yeah, the Neo's a cool looking gun. It's a 22, but it's a very unique one. And this one has been beta since you've been a fucking beta manager. So it's been a while.
Oh my god, this was before I was a beta manager.
No shit. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. This has been in since I was just a regular user. I remember.
Yeah. Nice. Homie was grinding on this project for a while.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I didn't realize it's been that long.
I got married and had 2 kids as long as this thing has been in beta.
That's incredible. That's incredible, man.
Your life, how much of a life change has it been? But,
you know what? That Beretta Neo just keeps chugging.
Hey, look, man, now you're on the second kid, and now you have your conclusion, all right?
Yeah.
But with that...
You're on the second staff member, and now you have a gun-building squad.
Exactly.
And what
going on everything.
And what better gun to build after that for the next one than the Plasticato, the 3D printed competition driven Glock Gen 3, which is actually a very apt description of it. That is exactly what I would describe it myself as. Yeah, it is. We started off September. Wait. September with the Plasticato, which I want to say was a rather short beta because I think this one had a proper adequate.
Cool.
It had an adequate level of hype for it of what a Glock frame could probably produce at this point in time. In that, I think it had enough people that were like, "Yeah, I can easily build this. Okay, this is a cool enough idea, and yeah, I'll join them." And it was able to get done pretty quickly.
I think that if we get enough bikini girls holding it, we might get it in the next John Wick movie.
Nice.
What do you say, Pew, though?
It's got all that style.
I mean, we're at that point with the Glock ecosystem, I think, where it's matured enough that it's hard to fuck up. You know? Yeah. Like, as long as you don't mess with a couple key points of geometry, you can do whatever you want with a frame.
Yeah, you can make it hammer-fired, right?
Yeah, you can make a hammer fire.
Get that thing. Jesus.
Someone did that. I already saw that.
Yes.
I saw someone do it before, actually. Unseen did it, but that was a disaster. They made it like a 3011 type thing.
Did not.
It was
Yeah.
it was
you haven't seen the you haven't seen the worst one. The worst one is from like the olden days, where they just made a replacement firing pin with a spring on it, but nothing to capture the firing pin.
What?
Yeah.
Is it the New York
You
trigger?
would shoot it. No, you would shoot it, but there's no rear cap on the slide.
It's
And so the hammer hits the firing pin, and then the hammer gets reset, and the spring shoots out of the back of the firing pin shoots out of the back of the gun like a fucking blow dart into whatever's behind you, or you, for that matter. That was one of the first iterations of this project from about 10 years ago. So
That's funny.
Anyways, I'll bring up the Plasticado, though, is one of the nicest things about it is, again, a very much competition gun built from the beginning. It's a Glock 17. Not much else to throw onto there besides Glock 17. It has one of those built
stylish.
Well, so I'm getting to that part, but it has a cool little ported I wouldn't say ported barrel, but it's got a cool little port built into the frame.
A muzzle brake.
Well, it's like a compensator.
It's more of a comp, if anything. It's more of a comp. But yeah, it's also got a gas pedal on the side of it, which one of the issues with the gas pedal is that it's hard to get holster compatibility, but then this one has its own 3D printable holster for it as well, which is also pretty nice.
True.
I think it even has a little cool thing that usually, because of its competition gun, you're probably going to do this as red dot carry, and you're going to probably you can just remove that rear side through the charging handle that they have, a printed charging handle for it, which is unique, because you'll probably have a red dot on it anyways. I think it even has some spots for weights as well.
Right. Yeah, this was designed to be a whole package, and it was basically like you could 3D print your whole competition setup and then go compete. So it's like a holster, a gun frame, the compensator. The front of the compensator's got voids for tungsten weights, like the whole 9 yards, right? And the frame is set up, like you were saying, a gas pedal, whatever, for running, courses. I think it's kind of a cool concept there. I mean, it's not for everybody, but it's really well done, and mostly Peaceful Machine Shop is the dev that cooked this thing up, and it's a hoot, especially if you're going to go to a comp and it's going to, you got a bunch of FUDs. And as I mentioned earlier, one of the things that we should strive to do every day is to enrage the FUDs with whatever we can. So this is a great opportunity to do that.
And yeah, it's one of those fun ones where, again, I think we can say that this one is a rather quick beta, which is very nice. And I think the guy who was a Mostly Peaceful Machine Shop also sells parts, like a small hardware kit for it as well. Because it's not really, I wouldn't call it a true parts kit, but I think it was just like the little compensator thing, some of the screws that it's in there. It's not like a true FMDA clone, but it's got its twist to it.
It's close.
It's close, but it's got its little twist to it. I'll give them that.
I mean, it uses DD2 rails,
which is good.
So it's not like it's a PY2A or a. I mean, it's as close to an FDMA Glock as you can get without diverging into a different platform.
But I've been meaning to actually fully print one of these. I think I was trying to do this on one of the Adventure Flash Forge ones, and God, if anyone's had the joys of dealing with Adventure Flash Forge, if anyone's had the joys of dealing with Flash Forge's slicers, that is supports on those things are just.
I don't have any of their printers, but I sure enjoy trolling them on social media. That is a highlight of my day.
Oh my God.
That was my joy of that one. I want to say it wasn't this time right now. It was maybe a month later, around November-ish, is when they started saying that they were going to keep track of They will report any unlawful behavior to law enforcement, which of course brings up the question of how would you know what unlawful behavior in your printer is? What do you?
I don't own one of those printers, but like if you don't connect it to Wi-Fi and you don't connect it
You
to
don't have to.
anything, and you just run an SD card, they're not going to know anything.
They won't. It was all posturing.
I don't think the flashboard printers phone home the way that bamboo printers do.
Right.
And the bamboo printers phone home if you don't connect them to Wi-Fi, though?
No.
Okay,
No,
that's what I thought.
if you
because I
only
didn't
use
do that
offline.
for mine.
Right, but
I've never
the slicer
connected
still phones home.
mine.
And so you have a bit of a thing there unless you're using Orca, but then you still have to authenticate through their API garbage. So
I mean, you can always,
Can you run the slicer if you never? I'm talking about like if we want to theoretically do a full cold build on a bamboo.
Yeah,
Let's say you take a laptop, you grab that slicer, you stick that thing in a Faraday cage for God's sake.
Well,
like something out of the Trailer Park Boys where the whole trailer's wrapped in tinfoil.
I don't think you'd have to take it to that extent. You could just put it on an SD card out of Orca, and then you could put the SD card in front of the bamboo, and you could run it just like an Ender.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Just use Orca.
Well, I'm sorry. The reason I'm saying this is because of that stupid Kathy Hochul nonsense, where she's like, "Oh, we're going to require 3D printer companies to not be able to print guns." It's ridiculous.
Just like every other idiot that said the same. I mean, that shit's been being parroted and regurgitated for the last couple of years. Couldn't tell you how many times I've heard that.
Buff coat. Oh, sorry.
I was going to add something.
Davis and Buff Coat
more
canceled because they cause arson.
No. More importantly, is we're talking about wonderful things that have always been repeated. That since I've started, Pew. Actually, maybe I want you to answer this one. But someone has replied someone has sent something in the chat. Has anyone tried printing in Peak yet? Pew, what are your thoughts on that one?
Peak is expensive.
Yeah,
Peak is real expensive.
I don't know.
I haven't tried printing in Peak, but if you want to buy me some, I'll print it. But I'm not going to buy
it. Would work
Peak.
fine. It's more of a question of whether or not your printer can get hot enough to use it.
And most cannot.
But also, what would even be the advantages beyond something like nylon or a glass?
I mean, the nylon game these days is
hammer.
Yeah.
What?
Okay. Yeah.
what?
Like a severe
hammer.
Yeah, something that's going to actually take a lot of impact force. I get that. Okay.
I mean, the nylon game these days is really, I mean, all the time I'm getting it's surpassing my expectations. The newest
fine Ooga Glock blacksmithing hammer.
Actually, if you could print a Glock slide and you could make that work, if
Ivan tried that, it blew up.
But
it worked in Call of Duty, and that's more important.
But for everything else, for everything else, the nylon game these days is just continues to move the bar. So I don't know. You'd have to have the right application for it to be necessary. For the most part, especially the carbon fiber, the glass filled nylons are like fucking epic. I mean, I've got some shit that it just continues to just outperform anything I ever thought it would do.
I love it, but I feel like nylon has also slowed down my printing because I have to continuously dry it. And I'm
you do.
Really bad at that. And we had a beta for a little while about a DIY nylon dryer. Did that ever go anywhere?
Well, it's still going. I have to check in on it. It's not. It definitely hadn't released. There was like a hot. It was like it's not the hot.
That's not judgment on you. That's like a as in like darn it. I want it.
I hear you. I don't know if they've done
if you want to be real hacky about it, you get like a 2-inch section of PTFE tube, like Bowden tube, and you get one of those $30 food dehydrators on Amazon,
Yeah.
and you stick a lazy Susan in that, and then you drop your filament spool on it, and then you feed it through that PTFE tube and into your printer, and there's
Oh,
your
that's
inline drawing system.
Oh, that's a damn good idea.
I'll tell you what I did. I dropped $100. Okay, it's $100 on an Amazon like commercial dehydrator that goes up to 90 Celsius. That thing, I can put probably 4 spools of filament in it. I don't print out of it, but I can nuke filament in there, and it will drive every bit of moisture out of it. And then I either print out of I have a special high temp AMS that I can put it in, or I have another. I kind of did a little bit of retrofitting on a poly dryer because it doesn't get hot enough to dry the nylon, but it gets hot enough to where it keeps it from reuptaking moisture. And if you're doing a really long print with some of these nylons that are super hydroscopic, that's like, it's pretty critical, because what will happen is, the first half of your print will look great, and then as your print is finishing, it starts to look like shit. So you've got to try to maintain the moisture level throughout the entire duration of what you're going to have to print. But that $100 is like money well spent. I mean, you got to spend it one time. I mean, it's about the same amount of money, if not, I've seen some filament dryers that are $200, $300. This thing, it'll hold all kinds of spools, and it'll run maxed out at 90 Celsius, which is plenty hot enough to get everything out of the nylon that you need to get out of.
No, yeah. And
Filament.
I got one of those fun little nylon ones that can get hot enough, so that's been pretty good for me. But
Nice.
I know Polymaker also tried making their own one, which was like pretty actually close to like a DIY solution.
Man, that thing fucking sucks, man. I have one of those.
I bought one of those, and I'm pissed off.
They didn't work.
When
I opened it and I was like, I'm gonna ask for a refund. And then I was like, no, Polymaker are kind of cool guys. I'll just eat the money. Like, whatever.
I have one of those. That's actually what I use to print nylon out of, but it's dog shit to dry it. It only gets up to like 70 Celsius. In order to properly dry nylon, you've got to get to 80 to 85 minimum. And 90 is great to be safe. I'm just telling you, you can, anybody that thinks differently can argue me to the cows come home. I've actually fucking done it. You have to get it hot enough. Nylon is particular, and 70 just doesn't do it. And maybe you at home, if you've dried some nylon at 70 and it's worked, then that's great. It just didn't have that much moisture in it. You get something that's really, really, it's got a high moisture content. 70 is not gonna. It just doesn't get it done.
We honestly just need like one of those, seriously, like a food dehydrator solution where someone just bolts one together and drills a hole in it, and then you put it on jerky temperature and go from there. I don't know.
When I bought one of the newer bamboos, and I got the high temperature AMS, which it only holds one spool. But the cool thing about it is that it will heat up to 85 degrees Celsius, which is enough to dry your nylon. And so the idea is that instead of having to dry the nylon in the printer or in a standalone dryer, you can do it in what they call the AMS.
I never bought the AMS, and I need to.
The V2 that is, and I got one of those, is way better than the original. I have a Kickstarter bamboo with the original AMS, and I got to be real. Like over the years, I've had issues with the original AMS. The new one that they have is a lot better. It's a lot better.
The best AMS that Bamboo has done was that center spool one that they did for like the A1 and stuff.
I was gonna say, the A1 one usually just works always.
Right, because it's using the center of the spool. You're not deforming the outside of the cardboard bullshit that everyone uses these days.
That's the big issue, is that, and then when they get light, like one of the things I noticed about the V2 is when your spools are almost empty, they don't have enough weight. And so when the gears are spinning and it's trying to like rotate it back and forth, it just doesn't have enough weight for it to catch the gears. There's not enough friction. And so it's basically like skipping steps, and then it errors out because it's like, oh, well, we didn't like rewind it enough, because the gears are moving really fast, but there's no weight on the spool. So I kind of wish. I mean, there's probably a way to turn that shit off, but if I'm doing a single color, why the fuck are you trying to rewind the spool halfway through the print?
I think we sorted out this feed stuff off of spools for like 100 years with the toilet paper roll. I don't know why these AMSs fucked it up, but they did.
Yeah, it was kind of a backwards way to go about it.
I'm convinced that I have the most ghetto printer setup in all of 3D2A. Where
statement.
Yeah. Okay, well, I run out of a Sunlu or whatever it is.
Can we replace ghetto with Italian? Go ahead.
Yes, you can absolutely replace ghetto with Italian. Harlem used to be an Italian neighborhood. Anyway, I print with a Sunlu on top of a stack of old military manuals, eating into a bamboo that is sitting on the floor. And
not only just ghetto, is autistic too.
Somebody start a GoFundMe for Dr. Death's print lab.
Dude,
did you see my old printer setup?
Mine was
set on a sheet of drywall between two end tables because I was restoring my house.
Mine was worse.
Didn't you tell me one time about how you printed one of my frames like in a trailer in the middle of the fucking woods?
I hiked out into the woods and I had like a generator. And I printed a recession Ruger on the floor of a trailer with a scrap piece of newspaper to level to see if I could do it, like out in the middle of the woods. And it was the grungiest, nastiest frame I have ever seen, but it fucking mag dumped.
Mine was worse. I used a fucking...
we gotta listen to Ag.
I used a trash bag to make an enclosure out of my Ender 3v2, and I remember that was a joy.
That's good.
That's very appropriate. It's super appropriate.
But
right there.
I will say one thing is I do see we have a Toxic Zombie in the chat, so I think now would be a good time to go to the
boombox.
Go to the.
Nice.
All right, so who wants? So Dr. Dad, this is also I think under your tutelage too. If you want to go ahead and introduce this one too.
Yeah.
While he's still here.
Okay. Yeah, the boombox. Okay, this was an awesome suppressor. I believe that it became a flash cannon muzzle brake as well later on. But the really cool thing about it is that it is rail mounted, so you don't need a threaded muzzle to work with this. So if you've got a basic Glock, you've got a basic M&P, you've got something that's going to line up with this thing, it is a printable suppressor. So especially right now, this is super important because you can register one of these and just run it without swapping out for a $200 barrel or whatever you want to do. So any of those pistols that lines up with this thing, you can just bolt it right on and you've got a suppressor. And Toxic Zombie is also just like a really cool guy.
Well, yeah, I remember too. This was around. This was like a couple of years when you were still here, and it was like I want to say around like the Hudson time where people were still thinking that was really cool, where you could attach like under rail Glocks like suppressor thing.
It's still a valid idea. I mean, it's sort of like the gooseneck mounts for a red dot on an AR. Like, you're working around something, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't work. Like, it's just a cool way to do it.
I keep seeing videos. There's a company out there that's making these like a boombox type suppressor for Glocks, and I've seen videos of them rail mount suppressors. And so, this is like the opportunity here is, you can employ the same principle in a DIY fashion with any number of firearms that you might have at home. And I agree with your point is, this is, for Americans anyways, it's easy enough to get a tax stamp. Just go ahead and get one of these and throw it on. Like, I want to get one and put it on, my Beretta, which I don't have a threaded barrel for. Put it on a Recession Ruger. That, I mean, getting a threaded barrel for a Ruger is pretty hard. So, it's a perfect opportunity for that. So I don't have an approval for one, or I'd be working on one right now. But it's on the way. As soon as I get
That would
one,
honestly
I'll
be
make
a
it.
good one. That would be a good one for anyone to do. Really. It's a
Absolutely.
very simple, very heavily tested suppressor. You don't need any special equipment.
Yeah, I was going to
I
bring that up.
encourage people.
Yeah, so someone actually did bring that up in the chat too. Was or would it need a Nielsen device for this thing? And the answer is no.
No.
No, not at all.
It might not be quite as quiet, as another form of suppressor, one with a Nielsen device, but it's still going to reduce the noise to a significant degree, and you don't have to pay $200
Yeah,
or
Right.
swap out a barrel. Like, you can just rock this thing.
True.
I would say that's the
Honestly,
bigger thing. Is
I
that
should slap one of these on my Glock 17. That'd be fun.
there's really no reason, kind of, not to have I wouldn't
Yeah.
want. It's kind of a multicam or multicam for this type of a thing. But you have anything to say, Pew?
I think the one thing that I would want, that I would ask out of the boombox design, is that it supports, frames that are shorter than the end of the slider barrel, like the high power, for example, or the FNX.
Oh, cool.
Because that would be really cool. But as far as real mounted suppressors go, I like it. And I already have the registry in for one. So we'll see if I get approved.
No,
Yeah.
Toxic Zombie,
I mean, from
heard that. He's in the chat still, so it's good to see.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Good. Well, then there's always an opportunity for a Boombox V2 that will evolve this design.
Exactly.
Indeed.
But no, yeah. I mean, I think it's a cool. I'm really happy now with all the suppressor stuff going out, and I think now we will have a good. I think we'll have a healthier, almost test base too for a lot of suppressors this year round. Thankfully, we already have
Agreed.
a lot of good suppressors anyways right now, but I think now this gives a lot of developers that opportunity to come up with goofier things, more crazier options.
No,
I
it's
think
true.
2025, looking at our release list, we could probably call it the year of the super safety.
Yeah.
I think 2026 is going to be the year of suppressors.
Oh, I think so.
I mean, that was almost 2024 too, actually.
Well, yeah.
The year of suppressors, and maybe the year of DIY short barrel shotguns. We'll see.
No, yeah. But all right, I think. Well, let's look at the next one here. We have the phalanx, and we have. I know we have the phalanx, which I don't think that one's yours for this one, right, Uberclay? But it's very similar to the one right after it.
Yeah, I worked with Optimal Fail on this. He had the original frame, and I kind of helped him. In the beta, I did the. There's a couple of versions. I did the dolled up version that looks a lot like the OEM frame, and then I helped him troubleshoot some reset issues early on, and it is dope. I have two of these, and I love them. 1.0, 2.0. It is a great little compact 45. It's a total banger. If the MMP platform just in general is really impressive.
Oh.
It's in my opinion, it's better than a Glock. I like them better than a Glock. It's got a better trigger. It's it doesn't use the same magazine, so whatever. But other than that, it's in my opinion, it's superior. So this is a great little 6-7 round, depending on your magazine. I would call it a pocket gun, but it's it pushes the envelope as far as the XCS 45 is that's basically I could pocket carry an XDS without printing too bad. This is it pushes the limit, but it is it's in that same bucket of a very easy to conceal 45 and easy to shoot. They run great. No rails. Integrated rails in the parts kit. So you're not really buying anything. You're just getting a parts kit, printing the frame, and you're good to go.
So, I like the MNP as a printed project. I despise the MNP as like a factory firearm. Just because every gun Smith & Wesson makes just makes me sad inside. I'm not quite sure why, but just something about something about the design just upsets me. It depresses me on a like a spiritual level.
Right.
But yeah, as a printed project, that it requires no rails and there's no real extra hardware you have to get for a pistol project. It's a really nice one, and to be in 45 is a pretty rare thing to see. So to not require any extra reinforcing there in the form of like send cut send or rail kits or some other stuff is
right.
A great deviation from the rest of really the rest of GunCAD.
Yeah, other than this is the only compact 45 that I'm really aware of, besides like the XDS, and this is a banger. Yeah, it's funny. I've got so many MMPs. I don't have a single OEM one. Every single one of them is printed, and I don't even know if I've ever had an OEM MMP, like a factory one. I hadn't thought about that until now. That's really funny.
There's almost no reason to buy a factory MMP. Just get a kit from somebody.
I think the Shield Plus has a fantastic trigger, and that is my go-to as my carry gun. But yeah, I will say the
Did
original.
You print it?
I got the original MNP. I got yeah, I know, right? I'm R&I monster. It was that or a 365, and you know what? I said fuck SIG, and I decided I'm gonna get the MNP, and I'm happy with it. I would stand by it again.
You should have got the 365. It's not bad.
You're not wrong. I just was with the 365. I hate the way I hate everything about it, but I somehow shoot better with it, and I don't care.
You just didn't want to be a damn sigger.
Hey, you know what? We're 3 hours in here. I didn't want to be one. You got me. But
you should have got a P226.
But I will. No, that would have been a good choice. You were correct on that. That would have been a proper choice. However,
those are the only good stickers.
Yeah, no, I've shot a few of those, and like they are quite nice. I'm with you on this, but
so funny.
I mean, I like my MMP. I haven't shot a 45 one, but I guess it's almost close to a 1911. I think it has 8 rounds still in that one.
No, it's like 6. I mean,
7 plus 1.
I think you get it.
Or 6, yeah. 6 plus 1.
Yeah, maybe it's 6. Yeah, 6 plus 1. Right. It's it's a little bit fatter, but not as tall as a 1911. And it's striker fired, obviously, not hammer fired. So,
well, yeah. But we can go to the next one, which I know for a fact you have plenty of things to say too.
This is another one that of mine. That's so this is the Mordaka. It's named after the governor of Massachusetts. We immortalized him in a release. This is the MMP 45. It was a V2, as the original was, similar to the what is it? The OK Zoomer, where it was chunky. So this is like a ergonomic upgrade. Actually tried to make this frame close to the OEM as I could. So there's it's when you look at it, it's very reminiscent of what they did OEM. And it's the same deal. It's takes an OEM magazine, no rails, so you just get a parts kit and print the frame, and so another
I have made one of these. It is a great gun.
You like it? Good.
Oh, I love it.
No, that's right. Never mind. I was thinking the SR45. Yeah, the SR45
I have made
SR rail.
Lots of things.
No, that's all right. I digress. I'm glad, man. This is, I have 2 of these, and actually made a safety version, which I think AG.
I have the V1. The old 2x4 one too.
Well, You should. Did you say you made a V2 or no? Did you make
I am making a V2. I have the V1, and I used it with a V1 frame, and then
Gotcha.
that's where we discovered that there were differences in the locking block between the
Right.
V1 and the V2.
The V2, that's right. Yeah, it's got like these little nodes on the front of the locking
A little
block.
bump.
You have to, a little bump. That's right.
But
It's funny because I thought there's a little lore. This project was done until AG was like, "Hey, well, did you make one to support the thumb safety?" And I was like, "Fuck no! Why would I do that shit?" And then he was like, "Well, because he likes thumb safeties." And then like right after that, I was looking at gun broker auctions, and fucking there was a M&P 45 because the kit that I devved off of originally didn't have a safety. It was a safety. It was an unsafety version, and right after that, there was a kit that came up for sale that had a safety. So fuck, I went and bought it, and then of course when I got it, I had to make a safety frame to support it. So there is a safety frame in there.
Yay!
Yeah, and that was mainly
It's what
because of
everyone
AG.
wants.
I know it's stupid,
Thanks.
but whatever. I threw it out there, and honestly, you can take the safety off. You don't have to, or that thumb safety. You can remove it. You don't need it. But if you want to run one, there's a frame in there for you. And I don't know. Like I said, it was kind of like taking some of my old projects and updating them for where I'm at today. Yeah, making it more ergonomic and improvements in quality of life. I mean, the V1 is totally reliable. There's no issues there. It runs like a clock, but this has like some there's a textured frame and an untextured frame, and what we've been trying to do is include blanks in the releases so that if you get good at doing your own stippling, you can take these frames and you can customize them. You can put your own stipplings on them, put your own textures on them, and kind of make it how you want. The last M&P 45 frame I printed was one of these to where I did the 2-color nylon, and it came out pretty good. So you print this frame in nylon, it'll probably outlast you. You'll probably die before it does.
No, I will say I'm very happy that I had a hand in this one. I'm very glad because I remember exactly this moment happening. It was like this is kind of funny. I mean, again, I will say this. What the nice thing with the M&P, at least the Shield series, is that with the thumb safety, I could put it in my pocket and it fits pretty well, and I don't feel as bad about carrying a striker fire gun in my pocket. But
Right.
very glad that was able to be done. And yeah, I like M&Ps. I'll be that guy, and I'll just say it. I like M&Ps. I think they're my favorite, some of my favorite modern handguns.
I think in a lot of ways they're better than a Glock, but you guys might not agree with that, but I think the trigger is definitely better. Maybe they're not as prolific, but if I had to pick between, I mean, if I had to pick one to use, I would probably pick the M&P. I'll be real with you on that.
But
I can shoot both of them relatively well, but I don't know. It's just kind of personal preference.
One time about how he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with his M&P, and so he hated it. And I was kind of thinking like maybe that's just on you, dude. But yeah, maybe.
I've seen plenty of cops that shoot like shit too, so it is what it is.
I just thought it was a really weird thing for him to randomly tell me.
I will say, as we're getting closer to being done, I'll bring up the next one myself because we're basically on the last two right now, so we're almost done.
Yeah.
This one. So I said, what was it? The CM1 fire control group is probably like one out of the other. One of the two that I think are the most impactful ones.
Yes.
This one, I would say, is probably that second one. Essentially, we were talking about 3D printed Glock mags and how wonderful those things are. Well, we have the Menendez Mag V3. Good old Menendez, probably in another prison similar to our boy Freeman, but for different reasons.
Gold Bar Bob.
Yeah, gold bar Bob indeed. But fun story
I
behind
am
that.
proud of this one. I remember
I was gonna say
Menendez
I
V3.
allow you to.
We covered this.
We did cover this one together, and when I heard this one, I'm like, oh shit, I'm happy. So actually, I'll give you the honors again, Dr. Death, because this one was around like before you left for sure.
This was smack dab in the middle of my tenure. I'm sorry,
so.
Pew, did you have something to say? No, okay, it's just residual mic noises. Anyway, no, the Menendez V3 is a huge evolution in 3D printable magazines. It features a jig to bend sheet metal to form stainless steel feed lips, or I mean, I guess you could use whatever material you want, but I don't know why you wouldn't do anything other than stainless. And you can inlet them in the frame, and that vastly, vastly increases the strength of a 3D printable magazine. Because I don't know if many people know, but especially if you've got very strong springs in your magazine, or if you use PLA Plus and you keep it loaded fully, over time you can get feed lip spread, and then the rounds will just shoot out, and they won't work, obviously. And what this does is essentially correct that issue by letting you use a bench vise, or, I mean, I suppose you could use any compression device, to squish appropriately sized pieces of sheet metal, which you can cut out yourself with a Dremel or a cutoff tool, into the proper shape to feed into a Glock.
Yeah, and
Nice.
I remember this was originally with Riptide Rails. I think Riptide Rails was just trying to do like some fun stuff, like just do some goofy things.
Oh yeah,
and then they realized
Riptide.
like, hey, wait a second, like I can probably sell this, but then he reached the point of, well, I could also sell this, but like it's just easy enough that literally anyone can do it, so might as well just release it like that.
That is exactly what happened.
And now we have basically Glock mags with metal field lips in them, which is a very, very good place to be. Because I think also, this is the one of the things that I wanted to test with it, of some of the issues with like printing in, let's say, ABS or all these other, more heat resistant than PLA, but kind of just structurally weaker filaments. I wonder how they would handle with the metal feed lips, because I know if you do print with these, the feed lips usually break off pretty quickly, and then that's the issue that usually comes with it.
But I'll tell you what I run into is with a lot of the printed mags, when you're using them in an extended range session, the top of the mag starts to get hot because you're reloading the mag and you're shooting in a hot gun, and even with a printed frame, the frame is fine, but the mag begins to get to soften. And if you've got a 17 or a 33 round Glock mag and you're loading it pretty full, there's a lot of pressure on the top of the mag, especially once it begins to get warm. And I've had mags where after it's like the fourth or fifth round at the range, and then they get warm enough, and all of a sudden the rounds are spilling out because the top of the magazine got warm enough to where it was able to, the structural integrity got compromised. So this basically defeats that, because it supports the top of the magazine that gets warm, and they're long enough to where the lower part of the steel is going to is set in part of the mag that is far enough away to be impervious to the heat. So, I've been running, he sent me some feed lips. I helped him do the documentation so we could finally get this thing out of beta. And I've been running them and doing some testing. I mean, obviously it's tested already, but I've just been kind of doing my own thing. I came in at the 11th hour to do the docs. I wasn't really participating in the beta. And man, these things run really good. I got to be real with you. Like I've been running them and, testing these suppressors and, messing around with them. That's what I've been since I had them around. I've been loading them up, and I've been kind of putting them through some punishment, man. And I got to be real, like they really run good, better than any of the other ones, that I have. And I've got a bunch of different, printable Glock mags. I got to say, these are probably the best. It's the the evolution, the apex of the evolution or whatever, the full, the fullest realization of the printed Glock mag, at least thus far, is the Menendez.
No,
I
yeah.
kind of wonder what the next evolution is going to be.
Drum mags.
It
Yeah,
could
I
be
don't know.
drum mags. It could be some sort of steel reinforcement along the side of the body to make the follower go easier. I don't know.
Could be.
Well, think about it. Like if you took this same idea and you had the feed lips bend up, but used a longer piece of steel, and you had two steel rails, thin
Right.
gauge, going along the side of the mag, and you slid it up from the bottom of the mag, and then you put on the floor plate. I mean, that would reduce friction for the follower.
Yeah, it would. Definitely.
I don't know. I mean, that's just something out of pocket. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's something that I've been thinking about with the Glock mags in general. Sorry, this is an aside.
No, go.
I'm thinking about these with the Glock mags in general. It's like, how much more tweaking with this can we do before we just start saying, fuck it, we'll design our own mags from the ground up for 3D printing in the same way that we've done a lot of gun stuff that way?
I often wonder when we're eventually going to just create our own cartridge, which would be some sort of like rimless version of a 30 carbine, or a stretched out 9mm. I don't know.
Oh, I forgot to show that again, that stream that we did with BLC and all that exact
9x21 Dylan.
Yeah.
Is that the round you were talking about?
We came up with a bunch of different random goofy ones. But
yeah, I don't know. Ivan has a good idea though on how to do a chamfered barrel, and get an actual bottleneck cartridge to work. And I forget what it was, but I remember him talking about it. He had an idea.
I've seen a couple iterations. The most productive one I've seen is where you're basically ECMing in steps, and you have like 7 or 8 mandrels to get out.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that was the one.
And you basically build a machine to control the depth precisely. It is basically you're building a Z-axis for your printer, and you're very precisely controlling the depth while you ECM. But
which is certainly doable. I mean, it's just, I don't know. At the same time, though, if we're talking about DIY ammunition and DIY cartridges, I mean, why not just make a whole DIY chambering? Something somewhat useful. And you could
4570.
I love 4570.
The only government I like.
Yeah.
But
I have a double rifle in 4570. I bought it when I was like 12.
I want one of those Derringers that's like chambered in 4570, like just those abomination ones.
So with the wrist breakers.
The Cyclops, I think. Yeah, there's like one called the Cyclops 4570 Derringer.
Like
I got obsessed with the movie Tremors, and I needed an elephant gun when I was like a kid, and I saved up all summer and I bought a 4570 double rifle.
What a good investment.
Knowing you, that does not at all surprise me.
Yeah.
It sounds so Italian.
Very.
It's very Italian.
I have never shot it because I couldn't afford the ammo.
You bought a double rifle when you were what? Wait a minute. You bought a double rifle as a fucking teenager and you haven't shot it? Is that what you just said?
I bought a few double rifles. I have one in 30-06, which I have shot several times.
4570. Did you just say you saved up for a 4570? You haven't shot it?
I did not. No, because Kmart was running a sale on Weatherbees because they were selling out of all their guns, and I bought a 300 Weatherby mag and got completely obsessed with it.
Kmart, the company?
I don't think you...
Wait, what?
Okay, first off, you're older than me. Ag, you're too young. You just hush. Kmart used to sell guns.
Kmart used to exist.
I miss Kmart. They told me they loved me on Twitter once, and I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, God.
I love you, Kmart. They wrote back, we love you, too.
Account based in Nigeria.
Yeah. Their last store closed, and I was like, no.
Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna bring them back. Them and Lawson. That's what we need. We need Lawson sold in Kmart's in every inner city.
Bring Jennings
Let's
back
make
too
it
while you're at it.
Yeah, but Bruce is a freak. I don't like Jennings because of that guy. He got caught with diddly pics, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Sounds very. It sounds very
that's why I
Cody
don't.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Well,
Sounds very Cody.
That's why I don't collect Jennings firearms.
I thought you
I
used
collect
to.
Lawson.
Oh well.
I did until I found that out.
Anyways, speaking of garbage rods, let's finish this all up with the last beta of the year. One of the worst, disgusting Croatian garbage that has been gracing the streets of the fucking hood, from Fifth Ward or Houston to fucking O Block in Chicago. This gun has been a blight on police and resellers' eyes for a while. Please, by all means, which one of you garbage rod collectors would want to describe this one? Go ahead.
I present to you the firearm far superior to the Glock.
Okay.
A gun that broke the mold. A gun that everyone loves, and that is the Springfield XD. A firearm that I carry an adaptation of every single day. Yes, XDS. Yes, indeed. Because you only need an S when you're carrying a 45. Take it away, Uber Clay.
Hey, listen, in all fairness, DB fixed the XDS by deleting the fucking hand safety or the grip safety, okay? So, you take the retardation, or at least most of the retardation, out of the Springfield gun and throw it in the trash can where it belongs, and then continue to build the project, right? Like the XDS, this is actually, I think, a very cool evolution. I mean, I don't want to go like too rogue, but like, the XD, like in all its iterations, like, I have, it's got a checkered and spotty history. The XDS, as of the way DB envisioned it, I think is a huge level up, huge level up. And, they run great, fucking absolute, it's one of the better kit guns to come out this year or last year. It's in my opinion. Anyways, I can't believe you just fucking introed it with that. What are you thinking with the Croatian piece of garbage? What?
I mean,
have you ever shot one?
Why would I? Do I need to eat? Do I need to eat shit to understand shit tastes bad? Like,
yes.
You know what? How many groundhogs have you shot with your Jericho?
None, because I'm not a sociopath like you.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought.
AG, are you a Jericho supremacist?
Of course I am. I love Jerichos. They're great. They're wonderful.
Disgusting.
Do you have the new one or the old one?
Pew, you've seen it before. You've shot it before.
I don't remember.
It's the newer one. It's the newer one.
It's the new one.
You remember meeting my wife. He's not going to remember shooting your piece of
my
shit
memory is
gun.
so bad, dude. I don't sleep for shit. I get like 3 hours of sleep or something.
I'm joking.
My brain is fried. So tired. But yeah, no, I don't remember which Jericho you have. But it wouldn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me knowing that you have a new Jericho and you don't like the Springfield. These are just two bad things that go together. So, sorry, AG.
Look, in all fairness, the OEM Springfield is a piece of shit. But the printed Springfield, much like the MMP, this is like, I think, an improvement in just like the SR45. Like, we're fixing OEM brain rot by producing a 3D printed frame that actually makes sense, and we shed some of the bullshit. That grip safety on the XDS is, I don't give a fuck. If you like that thing, we could throw hands. That thing
the grip
sucks.
zone? The grip zone? You don't like grip zone?
No, I mean, the grip zone is fine, but the fucking grip safety is a piece of shit. You know,
I'd like to back up for a minute and really go in on this AG Uber Clay boxing match.
I'm in.
Can we set this up?
I don't know, man. My man knows some what is it, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, man. He probably kicked my ass. I don't know.
Fine. You can use swords. I'll allow it.
It would make for a good video.
It'd be a fun one. Yeah,
I squeal really loud.
You wear your fucking like, pineapple mask. I'll wear whatever goofy mask. I'll wear a surgical mask or some COVID mask shit bull crap.
Oh man, seriously though, the printed XDS is, I think, is a really, I think it's a evolution of that platform, and I encourage. I mean, I get it's like I was fighting with it myself, trying to make that grip safety work and the whole sear cage and all that. It's incredible. I will tell you, I have major issues with the regular XD45 because there is no sear cage, and it's like the slave pin build from hell. I don't know if you've ever built one, but it sucks and it's annoying. It's almost more annoying than a Beretta 92. It actually is more annoying than a Beretta 92, but it's like in the same.
That's off.
It's in the same vector. Well, I mean, Katz's frame is done really well, and it fits really well, so it makes the pain a little less.
Okay, because I built his alpha frame and then never built another one.
Oh God! Yeah, I bet it totally like burnt you out on Berettas. But like,
I have a nylon one printed out, ready to go. I just don't want to do it.
Oh Jesus! No, I mean, I've made a couple of those, and the Berettas are complex. But if you take it step by step, it's fine. The XDS, I mean, it would fucking drive you crazy trying to get the grip safety to work. With the grip safety removed, it's straightforward. The XD is even worse though, because it has no sear cage. So you're putting together. It's kind of like, did you ever do an FNS 40L where your rear sear was all broke apart and you had to put it back together piece by piece? Did you ever have to do that? That is a pain in the ass, right? Like FNN owes us all an apology for making a rear sear cage that's that complex. Like, that is kind of, while the XD is not that bad, it is like halfway there, and it's far and away worse than most of the stuff that's out there. So whatever, but you can't be throwing shade on the XDS, dude. What are you thinking? I need to let you shoot mine, dude. You would probably dig it, man. I think it's a dope little blaster.
My brother has an XD, and I will say, like, as someone who actually enjoys grip safeties enough, where I don't care too much about the 1911 one, and I think the Smith & Wesson Easy is not the worst that I've ever dealt with. That one is closer to Uzi tier of like, oh, this is just here to make me not shoot the gun. And that is my feeling on the Springfield one of like, it just, when I hold on to it, it's like, oh, this is not conducive at all. And like, I have to like change my grip in an odd way where I can actually shoot it now. Yeah. This is actually genuinely unpleasant. That was the XDS. Yeah. Or that was the XD for me.
Yeah.
And the trigger was like, it was like stock Gen 3 Glock trigger, but worse in every way. And like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah. It's like, this is just worse in every way.
Criticism.
This is like
Glock 3, but worse.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I recognize how this feels, but like that's not a good recognition. Like I don't. This is you're copying the worst things, and you decided to add another worse thing that can make like now my grip has to be odd and like uncomfortable and just I don't know. Maybe it could work.
It feels weird, and it doesn't fucking work. I mean, it's like it's really touchy. So everything about it is like, it's funny. There's like a really, like if you do any research on the XD platform, it's pretty like when they first were introducing it, it had all kinds of problems. So I really feel like that we are doing humanity a service by fixing that particular platform for productive use in the general public. And so you can now take an XD or an XDS, and you just don't have to put up with Springfield's retardation. You can take it off and you can throw it in the trash can. And you can make a gun that, I mean, it works pretty well, and that's the way they should have made it. But for some reason they had this burning desire to overcomplicate, what they were trying to do, to the detriment of everyone. That persists to this day. So that's humanitarian service.
What I'm hearing is that we need a printable Hellcat.
Oh, we have one. Actually, it exists. It's just not released, but or I don't think it's released yet.
We need to move on that. That's beautiful. That's the perfect area gun.
Oh yes, I remember the. I think I remember the development. That was a beta this year, but I don't remember the exact name of it. But I guess it didn't release yet.
No, so the Hellcat is not a catalog beta. It is a DB took the Hellcat and kind of massaged it to make the XDS. And I can't remember the guy's name, but is the independent that's doing the Hellcat, and I think if it hasn't released, it's due to release imminently or something. But they've got a really solid design for it right now.
Well, anyways, with that concludes our wonderful year in review, I guess. That was with that one. We are now concluded around Christmas Eve. That dropped, garbage dropped on Christmas Eve, and the coal was placed on your stockings with the XDS. Again, my bad. DB, fantastic developer. You can only do so much. I understand that, but I'm glad you tried. But with that was our final beta release of the year. Of course, I think we would be remiss not to mention the final drop of the year, which was the FNT 5 out of nowhere. Although that one, I guess, is still being... That one wasn't necessarily released with the catalog this time, but that was just dropped out of nowhere as the $0 tax stamps.
It was a Christmas drop, yeah.
I'll just go out on a limb and say that it may be published by the catalog at some point, but just wasn't on Christmas Eve.
So
if he's a good boy, it will be. If he's on Santa's nice list.
That's a fantastic thing to throw out there for everyone. But it is, again, the wonderful suppressor of PLA Boy showing his face yet again after almost a solid year, actually.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
A year of planning.
A year of planning, off on the CAD mines, fixing up whatever he does the best. When everyone
he's
thought
got some cool stuff in there.
But
let me say this: if you're interested in the FTN.5, check out PLA Boy's Odyssey channel. He went ahead and posted it. There's lots of good stuff to look at. It's pretty much like the cutting edge of 3D printed suppressor design. And I guess I'll just leave it at that. You guys can go check it out if you're not aware already.
Well, I guess, while we're here finishing everything off, our wonderful conclusions of, I guess, what was the best thing, I guess, of this year, or what are we looking forward for next year, I guess? Because for me, I think the best thing this year was probably the fun DIY stuff. I think those were nice. I would say they build on to what everyone wants, or for fully DIY with a good, trigger group and also better mags. And then same thing with the basically DIY barrels. But what about you guys?
I think my favorite thing this year was probably the U-Bar 3. And I know that's kind of a basic answer, but I got to walk a handful of people through building their first 3D printed gun with that. It was a pretty easy frame for them to grasp and start with. They were all relatively familiar with it for the AR-15. So it was a good, couple days of plugging around and playing with prints to get all that done.
I mean, yeah, I think everyone has to start somewhere, so I guess it's a good point. I tell people. Go ahead.
So to kind of go along with that, I'm a huge U-Bar fan. that was probably one of my favorites. I have, the bipoly is a good one. When you ask the question of what do we look for in the coming year, it's an interesting question. I, thinking about that, it's like, is there one particular design or one particular platform, or is it more conceptual of like, where do we see the community going? I think for a while now we've been trending towards a more decentralized model, and I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. As long as we can keep the documentation standard, at a pretty high bar, and we have so many more people in the community, so many more, eyes, on our projects, and, building and working. It's like we've seen it grow exponentially, I think, over the last 2 or 3 years. I'm really excited to see kind of how that dynamic influences our community and influences our sphere. Along with that, I know that we'll be presented with new challenges, with people trying to, interfere with what we do, and disrupt, the things that we strive to achieve, in principle, and also, I guess, in action, as far as, what we're designing. So, but I really feel like we're in a good place, and, I couldn't be prouder of the guys that we have engaged. And, I look forward to having, more community contributions in what we do.
Well said. What about you, Dr. Death?
I really liked this CM1 fire control group, and I know that sounds kind of boring, but from an innovation standpoint and just an accessibility standpoint, that is an amazing advancement. It is a incredibly versatile fire control group that can be adapted to almost any 3D printed design. It is easily made by anyone around the world using simple compression springs. I mean, you're talking like soap bottle springs, ballpoint pen springs. And it just broadens the horizon of 3D printing and DIY to an immense degree. And I love that. You're not, I don't know if people know this, but in the EU, they recently started cracking down on airsoft parts. This completely circumvents that, which is hilarious, for people who really love airsoft in the EU and need to replace parts. And as for things that I want to see going forward, I really, really want someone to make a printable street sweeper. I have been calling for this for years.
So Italian.
I will give someone money to make a printable street sweeper. I love that thing. I need it. And I think that if you change the design and you change the name, it will get around the destructive device designation, because that was based around the name alone.
They're hilariously uncomfortable to shoot.
Yes,
right?
Yes, I know.
They're one of the worst triggers I've ever felt in my life.
I know, but I don't want to pay $2,200 and a $200 tax to get that.
Like,
so I
tried to shoot trap with one. It didn't work out very well.
I just want it.
The thing about
I want it because it pisses people off. It's the same reason that I love the Tech 9. It pisses people off. It's the same reason I love Lorsons. I love Lorsons
very Italian.
I got into an argument with, I forget the guy's name, Small Arms Research or something. I got into a screaming match with that guy because he was telling me how Lorsons were pieces of shit, and I was telling him that he was a retard. I was telling him that he's a retard that doesn't know anything about guns, and he's like, "Do you know how many years I was in the state police?" I don't care. I don't care how many years you were in the state police. You're a shit gunsmith, and I am better at gunsmithing.
You can both be right.
I was very
good points right here.
I was very drunk. Just screaming at him in his comment.
Oh, All I will
That's
say
some
is
funny shit.
I've shot, I'm trying to imagine the worst double action revolver I've ever shot, and I still think it was better than a street sweeper. But
It's going to be terrible, but that's why it needs to be printable.
but anyways, I guess
There's
I will say, looking forward to next year, though. I think next year I'm interested in seeing. I'm looking forward to seeing more like, I feel like we've had a lot of cope braces that are questionable braces, to say the very least. I'm looking forward to just some fun, just straight up SBRs, and then more importantly, the interesting suppressor designs that are going to come out. In that we already have PLA Boys FNT, which for what most suppressors are, that one goes out of its way to try to be a more long-term suppressor. I'm looking forward to seeing those fun, like straight off the printer suppressors that people will try to make, and what other innovations will people come up with just suppressor wise, especially now that you can just test them for so cheap.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to change. That's going to change the dynamic big time.
We're going to see all sorts of crazy stuff happening in the next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm invited back.
Yeah, no.
I hope it continues to get sillier.
I think next year we'll find some silly, like clearly suppressor stuff now just being like labeled as clearly suppressor stuff, and I think we will see some really goofy things with it. Like, what was that one thing that people put on? I think it was like, oh god, it was like one of those Vietnam things.
We're gonna see a lot of NFA stuff.
Because I think it was the Vietnam War. They made like something they put on whatever, like the not M4, like pre M4 thing, where it was like the muzzle,
Car 15,
the Car 15, where they put a muzzle device on it that supposedly made it sound more like an AK.
Yeah, the moderator.
Yeah, the moderator.
Mm-hmm. That wasn't that was a rumor. It wasn't really supposed to make it sound more like an AK. It was because they hadn't figured out the gas ports yet. So that was actually designed to boost pressure, but it made it sound different. So the ATF classified it as a suppressor.
Right. But I'm looking forward to seeing, like, okay, let's just see where we can take that, like, technology out of, like, let's just see like, if we can make fire like rifles just sound different. Like, that'd be kind of interesting. But those are NFA items, so like, why not? That's just goofy. What do you say, Pew?
The rubber chicken pressure.
Oh hell yeah!
That would be funny. I want to see some of those like rubber chicken ones just squawking.
Yeah, that'd be great. Or like, what is that? The moo thing where you the little
yes.
cup where you turn it over and it goes moo.
What?
Just silly shit.
But you haven't seen. What, you haven't watched Invader Zim where he replaces people's organs with one of those things?
Probably not.
We'll have to send you a link on Amazon or something.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Just send you one.
Those things are hilarious.
It would be a fun time. But no, yeah, I think this year will be a fun, interesting time with some of the goofy things people will come up with. And I think now with suppressor stuff, people will feel more comfortable with deving that stuff. And we will see some truly fun, goofy things. And more, I guess, I'm curious to see where things go. Maybe someone will dethrone PLA Boy and be the better suppressor guy.
Well, I know one thing that Doc has talked about, and we would get kind of excited about with like the Liberator and stuff, is with the short barrel shotgun stamp, you can start doing some DIY pipe shotguns, like pistol style. And it was one of the things that was kind of holding up the dev work before is, you got to be careful. You start getting into felony territory if you don't have a stamp. So this allows us to get cheap stamps to start DIY and some of this stuff. Yeah. I mean,
I'm talking to you.
Technically,
3D printable double barrel,
or like a 3DP Judge, right? Or that uses like 410 smoothbore.
410. No, go to 20 gauge.
Well,
if you're doing a
410, but what else goes chambers in 410, Doc? 45 long Colt.
Oh,
right?
45 long Colt, and so does 4570 if you really want to rock it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, or 44 Magnum. Ask me how I know.
Yeah.
But, the idea is that,
Good old
you can do...
Snake Charmer.
Yes. Snake Charmer. And, but you don't have to bother with that silly little thing called rifling if you get a short barrel shotgun stamp. And otherwise you do. So you make it a short barrel shotgun, that gives you the opportunity to start, making some DIY stuff, without flirting with disaster, so to speak.
Hell yeah. I think these are all fun things to look forward to.
I want more super safeties, and I want to know that super safeties are actually legal. That's what I want.
You can be the test case that you want for the world, my friend.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to do it because I am on every frickin' watch list known to man because of you glorious people and myself.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. It's like,
hey man, I got nothing to do with you being Italian, brother. I mean, that's all you. You know what I'm saying?
Look, man, Pew's been debanked and all these things, but like, man, you being Italian doesn't need to be on this list of things.
in some ways, it gets me more banking opportunities. You know what I mean?
Oh
shit!
I know some people.
Well, as we continue on, I guess I'll let everyone say their final words, and we can end this off before we reach 4 hours. So, I guess let's start off with Uber Clay. What do you want to tell the people more than anything else?
Well, if you're just getting started, go check out the guide at controlpew.com. If you're looking to learn CAD, check out Gun Academy on Discord most Fridays. And above anything else, I just really hope that you print a gun today.
Encouraging words. All right, Dr. Death, I'll let you go next.
Keep pushing the envelope. Keep plowing forward. Never say, this is too much. Live life to the max. And, have fun. And that's all that matters.
Control Pew, what do you want to say?
I mean, I think Uber and Death really rounded us out there. So I'll throw in touch grass and rehash print more guns and learn to CAD.
Wow, well, those are good words to throw onto that too as well. And I shall too also piggyback on all of those things, as well as buying wonderful t-shirts and patches as well using coupon code /AGcast. So that is the best way of going about that. Aside from that, yes, this has been a wonderful time. I'm really grateful that everyone stopped by. I'm very thankful too. I did see that, what was it? There was some we're 3 hours. Okay, yeah, there was some retard that did like a full printed gun doc, but it was like one of those retard gun docs where we're going to go talk to Cody, I guess. So that might be a watch party in the near future.
Yeah, that's stupid.
I don't know if he's one of those, I'm not sure if I should use a proper word I would use for it, but a flagger, one of those flagger guys who likes to copyright flag people. But some may use the word flag it. But if that's the case, then I will have to play very much fair use of pausing far too often. If it's like a 40-minute video, well, then that will be like a 3-hour video in return.
I got a prawn star to repost this video, so you're all thankful.
But
I know you all like me.
But I will check. I've been meaning to check that one out. But yeah, it's always interesting whenever printed gun docs come out of. It's always either like someone actually interested in the space or like libertarian who found out, oh, this is kind of like, state doesn't like this, so I'm just going to go off of the things I remember back in 2012. And sure enough,
I wonder if Cody I bet Cody hired a publicist or something. All of a sudden, he's doing all this media stuff. It's really tripped out, man.
It's one of those things where I will just say is if just having that ability of searching up on YouTube or Google of something, and then you will find article from 2012. That's just one of those things that helps the most. That's why
Oh,
it was
yeah.
that guys like Richard Spencer were the voice of the alt-right, despite no one talking about him now to this day. Of like, oh yeah, when you have those old interviews with CNN, MSNBC, all these places from like 2012 to 2015, 2016ish. It's a nice repertoire of some dude who doesn't know anything will jump in and say, "Oh yeah, this guy's been here for a while. Let me go talk to him."
I wonder how much he paid Tommy G to like put him in his little docu. What would you call that? A docu advertisement almost, or like something like that. Like I was like tripping out on that whole thing, man.
I
We should
have
do a watch
Dear
party
friend.
though,
My dear friends,
huh?
I think a watch party is a great idea.
Definitely, man.
I think that
Definitely.
will be planned in the near future. However, SHOT Show's coming up, so there'll be a little bit from
Yes.
there. Hopefully, again, as long as Amanda's not a flagger, one of those filthy flaggers, we'll see. I saw him online. I did see people dogpiling him. That is 100% what happened. He definitely did
Oh,
get dog.
good.
He definitely
Good.
100% did get dogpiled. However, he did the thing again of like, instead of looking at what people were saying, I'm just going to play I'm not going to look at any of this and just say y'all are being stupid and I'm going to fight them haters. Well, like, when your whole thing is, everyone's calling this guy's as actual, like, legally called pedophile. Well, you could also just search like, oh wait, wow, he is actually legally convicted as this. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that. You could have gone with that route, but no, I'm just gonna closely just ostrich in the head, just shove my face in the sand and say, nope, not listening, can't hear anything, no idea what's going on. Well, to each their own. But that is out of the scope of this entire video, this entire. But yes, maybe perhaps a watch party is indeed in the works. Maybe. Well, next week is probably not going to be the week, and then Chacho's after that. Oh, let's go. Let's aim around February-ish is what I'm going to say with that. But
Just let me know ahead of time.
when that day comes, I think that will probably be happening in the near future. But
Doc needs at least a week to get into his Discord account next time.
yeah, no, we need it. In case he gets hacked again.
I am undoxable because I cannot remember a single fucking password or email. So
Uber, he's gonna get
500 of them.
He's gonna get hacked again, where he just totally got hacked and didn't forget his password.
He keeps his fucking passwords in that goddamn boomer holster he carries.
That was several of the things. But with that all being said, I want to thank every one of you guys for showing up. Hopefully you enjoyed it. This is one of those fun little thank yous to everyone that stays through it throughout the year watching all of our beta videos. And you know what? I'm glad that everyone here is. I'm glad we're able to talk about some of the older things that it's been a little bit since this came out. So thank you for all for showing up, and I wish you all